Do you want the gavel? Ready? All right. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the regular meeting 2 of the Swatara Township Board of Commissioners. It is November 12th, 2025 at 7:17 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence, and Commissioner Connolly wanted to say something
During our moment of silence, I want to recognize a gentleman that we lost on November 4th. Mr. John Scarangella was 95 years old. He was a Navy veteran of the Korean War. He volunteered 58 years at the 40 and 8 Club in the Chambers Hill area. And I want to wrap it up by saying he's near and dear to our heart because he was a regular at our Coffee with a Cop events here in the township. So if we could just remember him during our moment of silence. Thank you.
All right, you may be seated. Now, do roll call. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item 4, roll call. Secretary Savage, could you do the roll?
Commissioner Tuckey?
Here.
Commissioner Zubek?
Here.
Commissioner Connolly?
Here.
Vice President Steele?
Here.
President Ellis?
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
And I will just announce that we did not have an executive session prior to this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Solicitor Coco Rizzi so we can get into the first hearing that is listed on the agenda.
Thank you. We are doing this a little bit out of order, but we have a few different hearings on the agenda for tonight. We're going to get through those first, then we'll do public comment and get back on track with the regular agenda. So first up on the list is a public hearing that is required in order to consider the request for a liquor license transfer. It's a request from one establishment within the county to another. The reason this board needs to hold a hearing is because it's coming from a different municipality. It's an inter-municipality transfer. I understand the applicant is here this evening, but I'll turn it over to Mr. Golden for a brief overview of the application.
Okay, thank you very much. So this hearing was advertised in the newspaper on October 28th and November 4th as required. The applicant is Pete's Pizza and Authentic Mexican Food, LLC, located at 4810 Dairy Street in Harrisburg. The premises from which the license is proposed to be transferred is at 1105 Hurst Street, Harrisburg, PA 17103. And then the premises proposed to be licensed in Swatara Township is the 4810 Dairy Street, Harrisburg, PA 17111. We did not receive any comments before tonight's hearing on the matter, and I believe the applicant is present who can present the plan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Evan Pappas. I'm an attorney at Tucker Arnsberg. I'm here representing the applicant, Pete's Pizza, an authentic Mexican food. My clients also are behind me, Mariana and Marcos. You may be familiar with the restaurant. They're an existing establishment in the township. As your solicitor mentioned, purpose of an intermunicipal transfer approval is to make sure that, so liquor licenses in the state are doled out by county, and there's a certain number per county. And if you want to move a liquor license from one municipality in a county to another municipality in a county, you need to first get that receiving municipality's approval before you even apply to the PLCB. So that's why we're here tonight, is to make sure that Swatara Township approves of an additional liquor license being moved into the municipality. The purpose of the liquor license is to supplement the existing business. It's a family restaurant. They serve pizza as well as authentic Mexican food, and that will remain, but they'll have the additional ability to serve beer, wine, spirits with dinner. That's about as simple as it is tonight. If there are any questions, we're happy to answer those. But at this time, I'll yield my time to the supervisors.
Is there any intention to, I guess, turn this into a bar? Is just strictly, let's just have a drink while we're eating, while we're enjoying a family atmosphere, something of that nature, never a bar?
That is correct. There will be some to-go sales, but it's mostly going to be sit-down family environment with some to-go sales.
So like our current restaurants with no bar? Okay.
That's correct. And to-go sales from a restaurant, you can only sell 2 6-packs to go, basically, is the limit that they can do at one time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions? Nope.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We need a motion to adjourn. Completing, see the motion to adjourn.
If there's any public comment, you can take that as well.
If there is any public comment with regard to the liquor license transfer, please come forward, state your name and address, and then you may begin. All right, don't see anybody moving.
All right, we can close this hearing then. There is an item on the agenda later on tonight for the board's actual decision with that. I should add, if you need to, we can adjourn into executive session to deliberate on this decision. If not, we can just call for the vote when that item comes up on the agenda. If you'd like to move that to the top to at least get some of these people out of the room, you can do that and vote on this right now.
All right. Then is everyone okay with doing it that way? Okay. All right, so the hearing has ended. It's 7:23 p.m. I'm going to, I guess, would I have to approve the agenda? Motion to amend the agenda?
Yeah, you can do a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
And it's going to be, following each hearing, we'll have item 9A, 9B, and 9C, if that makes sense. So we'll do 9A now. Once we go into the second hearing, then 9B will be considered, and then following the third hearing, 9C will be considered.
I make a motion, we approve this resolution.
Well, we have to vote on amending the agenda first.
Oh, that's too fast. All right.
So does anyone
you want
have
to get
any,
people out of the room?
does
so-
anyone have discussion with regard to
apologize.
the amendment? No. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so now I will entertain a motion to approve item 9A.
Once again, I will make a motion that we approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second, and again, for the public, this is consideration of a resolution for the liquor license transfer for Pete's Pizza and Authentic Mexican Food LLC. Do we have any discussion at this time? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so that's going to be resolution R-2025-62. All right, and now it's 7:25. We'll go ahead and go into the second hearing. Turn it back over to you, Solicitor Cocorisi.
Okay, hearing number 2 on the agenda for this evening is consideration of an amendment to the zoning map. This one is for tax parcel 63-062-058. Zach, which one is this, McNaughton or Navarro?
The first one is McNaughton.
Okay, I believe we have McNaughton here this evening. Zach, I'll turn it over to you again for some of the preliminary matters, and then we can hear from Mr. McNaughton.
Sure. So this is a zoning map amendment application for 441 McNaughton Properties LLC to rezone Dauphin County tax parcel 63-062-058, which has no address, from single family residential RS to limited commercial CL. We received the application on May 30th of this year. The Board of Commissioners forwarded the amendment to the County and Township Planning Commissions for review and comment on June 11th of this year. The Township Planning Commission met on August 4th and September 2nd of this year. Tri-County Regional Planning Commission review letter was received on August 4th. Staff mailed public hearing notification to 24 neighboring properties on October 20th. Newspaper advertisements were in the Patriot News and Penn Live October 23rd, October 30th. Staff posted the map amendment property on October 31st. And then tonight's the mandatory public hearing. Tri-County, they provided comments with a review memo. They did not recommend approval or denial. However, they did provide comments, and I provided that review memo in your packet. The Township Planning Commission on September 2nd, they tabled the application at their meeting on August 4th, but at their meeting on September 2nd, they unanimously, by a vote of 4-0, recommended approval of the application. That's my presentation, and I'll hand it over to Mr. McNaughton.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here tonight. Good evening. My name is Joel McNaughton. I'm an attorney for the McNaughton Company and the managing partner of 441 McNaughton Properties, LLC. We are the owner of a 17-acre site in the township at the northeast corner of Lindell Road, also known as State Route 441 and Keckler Road. It's our intention to develop the site in a manner that's more consistent with the past improvement and the planned use of the Route 441 corridor. Hence our application and our being here tonight seeking your approval of the extension of the CL commercial limited zoning to this site. The site is currently zoned residential, RS, residential single family, which is the lowest density residential permitted within the township. It's currently a rotation crop site, so we have a farmer that puts corn and soybeans every other year or so just to keep it in an active type condition. It's traversed by a power line, and it's located at a signalized intersection. All of those things really make it not conducive to single family detached dwellings, which is the way it's currently zoned. Certainly my opinion and perhaps others that it's not the highest and best use for 17-acre property at a signalized intersection within a mixed use corridor. The 441 corridor over the course of the last several years, several decades, has really grown into a mixed-use corridor. You have commercial limited, commercial general zoning, residential multifamily zoning, and you have all types of different uses: commercial, retails, hotel, multifamily, and recently zoned significant additional portion of this area to be mixed use. It's our goal to continue that commercial limited and really to try to provide a more beneficial and more appropriate use of the 17-acre property. As Mr. Golden mentioned, we submitted this application back in May. We were at the Planning Commission in August and then in September. And in September, the Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval of this application. The county provided a review letter under date August 4th, 2025, and the county review letter generally offered some comments, but I think there was a sentence in the county review letter that struck me, and I'll take this right from the letter. The county does not oppose the proposed rezoning of the identified parcel from RS, single-family residential, to CL, commercial limited, as the change appears to represent a logical extension of existing development patterns along Route 441. And that, I think, sums it up better than I did in my May 30 application. You have a uniquely situated property at a signalized intersection along a state highway with a power line running through the middle of it. Your commercial limited ordinance says it's to provide for lighter types of commercial uses that will be compatible with nearby homes. So what we're talking about is perfectly logical. It's what your zoning ordinance tells you to do. It's a convenient location for convenient service, for job creation, and especially for an expanded tax base. The county comp plan identifies this area as a suburban core, and these are areas in which the county says that growth should be planned. One other document that provides some guidance on this application is the township's comprehensive plan. It's called Swatara Rising 2025. Your current comp plan does not have a future land use map, but it does kind of give some guidance for these planning decisions. And I thought there were two parts of your comp plan that are pertinent here tonight. These are quotes from your comp plan. One of the goals of the comp plan, quote, is to increase the ability of Swatara Township to be the premier location for people to live and for business to thrive in the Harrisburg region. There's also a section of your comp plan under economic development, and that says that a goal of the township should be, quote, to retain existing business and attract new ones, make existing commercial and retail districts more attractive. So we've got the 441 corridor. It's changed through time and it's going to continue to change, and it's become a mixed-use corridor. We have a uniquely situated property that through this rezoning would be a harmonious expansion of that corridor. It provides a beneficial use, and it provides an opportunity for business growth within Swatara Township, which is what your comp plan tells you to do. I'll be respectful of everybody that's here, and I'll kind of stop there since the application is here and in front of you, and I'm sure there's some questions, but it's for all those reasons why I think that this makes a lot of sense, and that we hope that you're in a position to approve our rezoning request. Thank you.
Thank you.
Say something.
I was going to say, does anyone have any questions?
You wanna go first or no?
I have a question. Do you have any idea what the use of the property will be?
Sure. So I didn't want to bring sketch plans and things because this is a rezoning, so it's anything that could be within the CL zone. But our intention is to develop this as a nursing home or a personal care / assisted living home under your zoning ordinance.
Thank you.
That's basically what I didn't know why you hadn't mentioned that, because at the Planning Commission, you did provide a sketch plan, how you would work with the power lines, talked about the amount of traffic. We talked about the need for such a facility in the area, and I think a lot of times that's missed when the residents get the notice that something's happening. It tends to trigger a reaction that they don't want anything to happen. So that's just the way we are. Like if something's changing, people generally are opposed to the change. So you did state that a couple times, and you went through the even to the point of traffic and the ingress and egress. And there was another thing that it's not always the most important, but you talked about the tax dollars that your project would then generate for the township, as opposed to the land in the condition that it is now. And I don't want to speak as to what made them make that unanimous decision, but I thought you presented very well, very reasonable, and you got the unanimous approval to come to this board. So I just like Commissioner Zubek said, I was just wondering why you didn't say that tonight, but that was very respectful. You didn't say it because you're rezoning it for whatever the purpose is, but you did have a plan.
Right, and we do, and if it's helpful, I think I can take a few seconds to go over that. I didn't want to, because a lot of times when we show a sketch plan, the first thing that your solicitor says is, this is a set sketch plan, it means nothing, you're going to do a rezoning, and it can permit any potential use. We intend to do a nursing home, and we've provided, I'm happy to even share these. We have two different options for the site, a kind of a minimalist use and a more intensive use. The more minimal use would be a single-story, 72-bed facility at a higher care level, so a very skilled care type facility, similar to a site that's existing in the central Pennsylvania area over in, I guess that would be Lower Paxton Township off of Linglestown Road, called Columbia Cottage. This would be very similar to that. So if you've seen that before, it looks like very attractive building. It's one story. It has all self-contained corridors so that the folks that are in there that are in like memory care type needs can't get out, can't go anywhere, but can still get outside. By way of example, that 72-bed facility does have an assessed value within the county of just over $8.25 million, which would be tax revenue to the county, township, and the school in excess of $250,000 a year. A facility like that would be about half of the traffic daily as compared to a similarly situated single-family detached community that we could put on there today. So you put some houses on there today, that's some traffic number, that's what you're allowed to do. If you did this 72-bed skilled care facility, it would be about half of that traffic daily. A more intensive use would be sort of a combination facility, so from almost independent care up to skilled care. This would be a 3-story facility, be 187 beds approximately in a larger facility. It's when you start to get into some big bucks. Estimated assessed value of that property would be about $25 million. Total tax revenue then to the township, county, and school annually is about $810,000. The 187-bed facility would be about 1-to-1 equal traffic as compared to a single-family detached community that you could build on that site today. So that's kind of the overview that we provided at the Planning Commission, and I think helpful since those questions came up tonight.
Thank you.
I just want to point out too, the use that you're talking about, or the potential proposed use, that was something that still potentially could have gone there with the current zoning by special exception. Just so for the public that this is still, regardless of the change, it's something that could have potentially been there. So I just want to point that out there too, that it'll go from special exception to permitted for that one. Does anyone have anything else at this time? I appreciate you. Thank you. We'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. You have comments, you can come forward, state your name and address, as well as write them down, and then you may begin.
My name is Colleen Hoover. I live at 5011 Lilac Lane for the past 48 years. One of the reasons why we oppose this, are opposed to this zoning change is that a developer may build any type of structure that complies with the new zoning classification, regardless of what the developer promised or proposed to the township officials. The developer can also sell the land undeveloped to another developer as soon as the rezoning is approved. The new owner is not bound by the prior promises or statements of the seller. This is like deja vu to me, because over 20 years ago, we came before the board to oppose changing it to the commercial limited from the residential. I'm very sorry that Mr. McNaughton could not see fit to build houses in this area. There were many excuses as to the power lines, but what we were really concerned about was the traffic. There would be no in or out on 441 or Keckler Road. It would all have to come out into our development on MacArthur Drive. And at that point, he was proposing an office building that would employ over 1,200 employees. And this does not include, for the nursing home, the daily business and personal visitors, servicing companies to maintain the building and provide the services to the tenants or who will be delivering supplies and equipment. This will create excessive traffic problems which will affect the safety of township residents and the motoring public. It will also further deteriorate our roads, which I might add, in the 48 years I've lived there, my road has never been repaved. They are already in extremely poor condition and strain our limited police and fire department. And as you know, the Aspen Hill apartments, which we didn't really ask for back in the 60s and that we were told would be more housing, they sold out to a developer who made 324 units back there. And I'm sure the police can attest to this, that we have 3 stop signs coming in and out of that apartment. And they probably could make a day's wages on the people that go through those stop signs. In the immediate area, I know there are so many open office buildings, vacant office buildings. They're even going to be building them over there where the East Mall used to be. So I'm wondering why at this point in time he's coming out with this new proposal to change it to commercial limited. We like our neighborhood, and to us our homes are not just dwellings or buildings. Our homes represent who we are and reflect our American dream of home ownership and the pursuit of happiness. We are individuals of modest means who worked hard for our homes and continue to do so. We are proud of our accomplishments and our community. We will resist all efforts or attempts to change the current residential zoning to any other class, regardless of the proposal submitted. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments at this time?
Hello, my name is Lisa Snyder and I live at 6140 Hawker Drive. I just wanted to come up here and talk for a minute. With the proposal of the warehouses going in my backyard, I'm asking the board tonight, like, what is the plan for our neighborhood? I feel like, Shelley, you brought up an excellent point that he could do this proposal with the special exception. So why is he not going that way? We really have to protect the land that we have left here in Swatara Township. I feel like that is huge because people are coming in, they're changing the zoning, and then they're building whatever they want to build. And a prime example of that is this project on Eisenhower Boulevard, where they came in and said, hey, it's going to be a store in the front, places to store your stuff in the back. And it's a completely different plan now. I'm not opposed necessarily to a nursing home, but the lady that was up here, I just want to piggyback off of her. She had some excellent points. And we need to make sure that the zoning is not going to be changed and there's going to be something in there that we don't want to go in there. Again, potentially what they would come back later and want to build could change the characteristics of our neighborhood. We don't have a lot of land left here in Chambers Hill. And I'm just asking you to consider the special exception and say no, the zoning change is not the way to go because we have to protect the land that we have left. I just want to point out too that McNaughton, they were gifted this property in 2001 for $1 and they have been paying $260 a year in taxes. So anything they put in there is going to be a tax improvement, and I don't want money to talk here. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments at this time?
Hi, Matthew Allen, 900 Dennis Circle. I just want to reiterate what she said. If there was these truly altruistic intentions to build this nursing home, why isn't the special exception being used instead of going through this rezoning process to potentially introduce completely unknown factors to the neighborhood here? Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments at this time?
Good evening, James Meminger, 860 MacArthur Drive. Good evening, commissioners. I just have a few comments because I was here with Colleen and a number of residents that have since passed in our neighborhood that are widowed or left behind that would have been here tonight too with Colleen and the rest of us in the neighborhood. About 15, 20 years ago, we had probably about 200 people here, if not more, Colleen. We created a small township committee called STARS. It was Swatara Township for residential zoning. We went to a lot of different meetings over the summer. We didn't get a chance to do that this time, but I just want to ask that you look back to 15, 20 years ago when it was zoned agricultural. We stood here, the number of residents, unfortunately, we asked the commissioners to please deny the zoning request to be changed. And unfortunately, it was changed from agricultural to the current single family that it is now. At that time, a plan was proposed to the commissioners, again, and the solicitor said that this doesn't matter. The builder can do whatever they want with the land. Nothing has happened. We were delighted to see that it was single family homes that would be built in that plot. Got to kind of calm the neighbors a little bit that the commissioners went in the route that was against the neighbors. So I'd love for you to take a look at that plan, because at that time, the traffic light wasn't an issue, the signals, the power lines, none of those were issues at that time. But now 20 years later, they're issues for single family homes. I don't understand that. I'd ask the commissioners before you make any decision to take a look at those past plans that were presented for building and have been abated for whatever reason. Colleen mentioned about the traffic in the neighborhood. We do have a mixture of elderly and young children in the neighborhood with the apartments. And as she said, if you guys want to come see our traffic in the neighborhood, I'm welcome to sit on MacArthur Drive and see what happens there. We got a lot of walkers, a lot of pets, a lot of dogs. With the egress from the property, it would kind of destroy the neighborhood vibe that we have there. I do want to say that we are a community of, we want development, we want good development. We also want to preserve our first class status as a township. And with 2 million, what is it, red zone, so 2 million square feet of available office, the commercial office space available to be developed, reused, or rebuilt in the township right now. I don't know if this is the best time to approve more. So thank you for your time, commissioners.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments at this time? All right, turn it back over to you, Solicitor Cocorezi.
If there's nothing else for this hearing, then we can close the hearing and the board can consider the motion, or the resolution rather.
All right, it is 7:51 p.m. We'll close that, and now we're going to go to item 9B. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and I'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. Does anyone have any questions or comments at this time?
I do have some discussion. 15 years ago, the proposal was exactly what we heard. Office. This is not office, so I heard it sound like two people arguing against that. If you remember, I was one of the original people that was concerned about that. Yes. And the reason for that was at the time we had a massive AMP complex that wasn't occupied, and we had a lot of office space that was available, and for the reasons that I heard tonight, I still feel the same way, that at that time that was not a good use. The traffic numbers that Mr. McNaughton gave at the Planning Commission, and I'm assuming were the same ones they gave tonight, included all the traffic in and out of this facility. This isn't a place where the resident, for the most part, leaves. So it did include deliveries and staff at certain times during the day. There could be shift changes. So that was already discussed by the public. I don't know if the same people here tonight were at the Planning Commission. The meetings were downstairs and I was at the front, so I don't really know who was behind me. But it was pretty well discussed, and the numbers were there. 15 years later, I know what you're saying about residential, but you got Chick-fil-A and a Sheetz and a lot of traffic in and out of there, and you still have the power lines. WITF, I think, was a great neighbor, but it certainly changed the area, and I feel like regardless of how Mr. McNaughton got the property, he had it, and he kept it in that condition for 20 years. It's been my experience that when new neighborhoods come in, we hear the same things that we heard tonight. People don't stop at the stop signs, they make noise, they drive too fast. So I almost feel like the argument against this facility is based on something that it's not proposed to be, and I don't know that it eliminates the same quality of life issues just because you have houses on 17 acres. And it's also been my experience, and this isn't specific to the McNaughton Company, but when developers put homes on land, they tend to try to put as many as they can for the profits. Then, I mean, it makes sense because that's, it's an expensive venture. But for the same reasons that I thought the 1,200 vehicle per day office space wasn't a good idea, I'm not opposed to a nursing home facility, a care facility, something that's truly needed and would benefit the community. That's all I have. Thank you.
And by way of discussion, I just also want to share for the public that I don't remember how long ago it was. I want to say it was April range. This board met with the school district for like an information session, and their request to us was to attempt to limit residential development as best we could. Obviously, we can't stop it completely. And the reasoning for that is because our schools are already overcrowded, and the more homes that are built, the more students there are, and ultimately it will lead to tax increases with regard to the school tax. So just want everyone to keep that in mind, that with the types of residential development that you're asking for, you could potentially be asking for higher taxes as well. And if you compare the two, which I appreciate the memo that Zach and the Tri-County Planning put together, where it shows the differences, but homes are still permitted here. So it doesn't completely change that. It just takes away some of it flip-flops some of them out. And just for everyone, apartments are not permitted either way. So there wouldn't be high density homes regardless of this change. So I think that, it's sad to say, but unfortunately that's probably something that is a good thing for the township, again, with regard if we're talking about dollars and cents in taxes that we would be then responsible for. So that's all I have. Does anyone have anything else at this time?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of struggling here because I can see both sides of the argument. It gives me pause to know that I'm supportive of the idea and the concept of some senior living facilities in our township, because I know we don't have a lot of that. And I really would like to see that, but I do also know that a zoning change is taking a risk in that you don't have the guarantee that facility is going to be placed there. But nonetheless, I also think that it's probably a better choice than having a significant number of residential homes. Either way, there's going to be buildings on that property. So I'm kind of torn here, but I do appreciate the arguments on both sides from everyone. I think that the traffic is not much of a concern for me, but I do want to point out that I'm a little different from President Ellis on this, just because I don't think that my decision would never be based just strictly on, like, if the school district came and said, we don't want any more growth in your township because we don't want to budget properly. I mean, I actually think that people should just budget properly. But in any case, I do understand both arguments. I'm willing to go more toward the side of more of a senior living facility. Hopefully it's something that can get done. I'm not sure why it's not being done with a special exception, but this is the route. But I hope whatever the developer does, the developer continues to move in that direction, and it's not something that's going to change as other plans have. So thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything? Okay.
Yeah. When it comes to all these decisions throughout the period of time being up here, I feel for everyone that spoke. Last thing I want to do is be responsible to mess up your neighborhood in any way. I do want the betterment for the total community. If I may ask, Mr. McNaughton, what's the traffic flow for the nursing facility you're looking at putting in? Because I was not at the last planning commission meeting when this went forward, and because I was in another meeting at the time.
Yep.
So the more minimal facility, 72-bed facility, it's about, generally traffic looks at your AM and PM peak hours. So your AM peak hour for this facility would be about 14 trips, and your PM peak hour would be about 24 trips, 200 to 220 total trips a day in a 24-hour period.
That's, well, of course, the
It's
majority
smaller,
of people
'cause-
there are staying there, but, so that's factoring like only 200 some employees at that facility on a 24-hour basis roughly.
Yeah, so these traffic counts come from a traffic manual, which is nationally based and has all sorts of traffic uses and is constantly updated. So it's a nationally accepted type publication, and they study all types of facilities, and they tell you that on average these are the types of traffic that would be generated.
Okay, and were you involved 20 years ago when this was all brought forward? I wouldn't think so, but maybe I'm wrong.
20 years ago, when was that? 2005.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. I wasn't. It couldn't have been 2005. I think it was the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, perhaps, when this proposal, and I was still in college.
Okay, my question is, at that time, the traffic flow was projected to go into their neighborhood instead of going out on the main route?
I can't speak to that. I'm not sure. I know that in our sketch plans, we have a connection to Keckler Road, so not to the community to the back side, to the north side.
So your plan is not to go into that neighborhood at all?
Correct. There's some limitations, there are physical limitations of grade and other things, but we have a road out to Keckler Road.
And I know once this gets changed, it's changed no matter what, but you are not planning on selling the ground. You are planning on putting this as a nursing home.
I mean, as much as I can stand here and tell you that that's our intention, we own the property. The property wasn't gifted to us. We bought the property back in 2001. That's how the tax records show up when they're old. We've owned this property for a long time. We have a desire to put a nursing facility on this site, and that's our plan.
And is there a reason why you didn't go with the special exception?
I mean, mostly because that takes the decision power out of the hands of the township and the planning commission and places it over with the zoning hearing board. And I think that smart planning, especially when you have a situation here with this is one small part of that entire corridor. And when you go special exception, you're sort of laser focused on that particular piece of property. And we view this more as a regional type planning decision.
And if it would be approved and you would go to the larger facility, what's the traffic flow looking like with that?
So for the larger facility, AM peak hour about 34 trips, the PM peak hour about 45 trips, and about 386 or so trips per day. For purposes of comparison, 34 dwelling units would be 33 AM peak hour trips, 41 PM peak hour trips, and depending on if you use rate or equation, 326 to 386 trips a day. So like I said, it's a 1-to-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything
If I may, I'm sorry, one more question. You weren't there for that time for the residential. So what would be allowed to be on this piece of property if it would be residential? How many units?
So we use 34, which is 2 units to the acre. The zoning would allow down to 10,000 square foot lots, but because of the power line and the other constraints, we estimated 34 homes. That's what we use for purposes of the traffic comparison.
34 homes on that piece of ground is what you would put up if that's what it would be.
How many acres is that property?
17,
Yeah, that's,
2 per acre.
out of 17 acres, that's all you would put on that piece of ground.
You got the power line that's probably, 3-4 acres of it. You got some slope on the eastern, sort of northeastern side. We'd like to do more.
Well, normally I'm used to hearing that piece of ground, and I know there's some things to work around, but I'm normally used to hearing a lot more than 34 homes.
Yeah, a flat 17 acres without a power line in the middle certainly could be, 3, 4, 5 units to the acre, single family, townhomes, 6, 8, 10, apartments, 8, 10, 12. So it kind of goes in that fashion.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's just one of those decisions where there's multiple impacts that you have to weigh out economically, infrastructure, public safety, and you have to decide which one provides better value for the future for the residents. And sometimes that's a tough decision that you have to make as elected officials. I'm sort of with some of my other colleagues too, where you're different and tossed to and fro, knowing the fact that our public service is taxed, whether it be our police, fire, EMS, our school districts. Do you bring something here with economic value that will not tax those resources even more? But then you have to take into consideration, what is it that the residents want as well? And that's where it becomes sometimes a tough decision, but you have to make a decision as an elected official. What will best benefit the township and the residents in the future? What goes on a piece of property and what happens? I'm going to speak somewhat to the case in point of my personal feelings as it relates to people's property and their ability to do what is allowed within the confines of the law. I've always been an elected official that it is not my position, nor will I use the authority that's been granted to me by the citizens of Swatara Township to tell someone what to do with their property within the legal confines of the law. I think that's a fair and free United States that we live in. I'm not the neighbor that lives in Chambers Hill, and just because I don't like something beside me that I'm going to tell you what to do with your property. I've always been that way, and I will remain that way as long as you do what's necessary within the perimeters of the law. I think that's how we should govern, and that's how, even if you're not an elected official, that's how you should look at it. And sometimes that's tough because, Swatara Township, and I have a rich history here, and I've grown here. My family's been here for over 200 years, but I do remember a lot of rural area. And, part of it, Swatara Township is now a suburban, almost city area. That's the reality of it now. And it has nothing to do with, because the elected officials want it that way. We have just seen that much growth in central Pennsylvania, and it's almost called for it. And it's how do we minimize the largest impact of an influx of residential that, again, back to the genesis of the beginning of this conversation, that will impact us as a whole, as residents and taxpayers. Because ultimately, the costs continue to go up. If we see an influx of residential neighborhoods, we're going to have to hire more police officers. We're going to have a larger EMS force, larger fire force. All these things just exacerbate as time goes on. So I just wanted to state that on the record, that's all.
And I just want to point out too, with regard to the use that it's currently being used for, crop farming, that is still something that is permitted. Forestry is still permitted. Nature preserve or environmental education center with the 10-acre minimum. So with regard to concerns of those types of things being lost, there still is a portion of that will be retained. And also want to speak to Commissioner or Vice President Steele's point too. Obviously, it's very difficult to predict, what the best decisions are. That's something that I don't think any of us take lightly. We all want to do what's best for the residents, and sometimes that requires difficult decisions. So I just want to throw that out there too, that this isn't something that comes easy for any of us. And if I had a crystal ball and could see into the future, that would make things easier, but that's not how this works. So, and go ahead, Commissioner Tucky.
If I may, I believe 2 residents would like to say something yet. If you.
Can we have a ring call here? Hey guys, look, you guys prepping us to approve this. It's already approved for what he wants to build there. I don't know what the question is. And we are not debating. The solicitor said we are not debating over what is being proposed. You guys are all talking about a nursing home and he's going to build it there. It's not going to happen, you guys. Look at the plans. The gentleman who proposed the plans 20 years ago is sitting in this audience. He probably has the plans with him for what he put in front of you and you approved 20 years ago and he didn't build it. Come on. This is not personal. We want good development. We know that the land is going to be developed. Put something great there. We'll team up with Mr. McNaughton. We'll rally around a nursing home. If that's what he wants to put there, I will rally the residents to come here and approve, and whatever zoning we need to go to, we'll go with him and we'll go for that. You are just opening up a can. I understand it's tax dollars. You're prepping us for it. I got it. But I stood here and I just feel like you guys have already pre-made a decision for tax dollars. That's my opinion, that you guys are prepping us to approve this. I know you haven't made any decision right now, and I don't want to take this personal, but I was lied to 20 years ago, and I feel like I'm being lied to again. But thank you guys for doing your public service to us. We appreciate you guys sitting up there making tough decisions too. Thank you.
What's your name again? I want to speak.
James.
James.
860 MacArthur Drive.
Every decision is based upon an economic value, whether it's
Not for me.
No.
I disagree.
Anyone can say that. Any house that is built, any commercial.
Don't speak for me, please.
Let me finish talking.
Please don't speak for me, though.
I know. Let me finish talking.
Thank you.
Any house, whether it's a multi-residential, single-family dwelling, whether it's a bodega store, whether it's a shopping mall, it has an economic value to it, James. That doesn't play into consideration whether or not we want $1 million house here or a $100,000 house here. We don't make those decisions based upon the way we zone. So that's not the factor. The factor is it plays some part, but you have to look to the future is, what is it going to do if it becomes a multi-residential neighborhood or a single-family dwelling, right? What's that do to the school at Chambers Hill? What's that do to Swatara Junior High? What's that do to East High? What does it do to our police force where we only have currently right now, I think, 49 officers? What takes place next? It's the same thing that's going on at the lower end of Chambers Hill as well. What happens is if a residential community would have to go in there? There is a lot of impact, and I'm not trying to sell you an idea of the decision has to be made. I was just trying to say to you, it is a tough decision. How do you weigh that out and balance it out? Based upon what you came up here and said, James.
Yes, I respect that. I want to be upfront, and I want to be respectful to your point of view. Everyone has a point of view. So I'm sitting back there, I'm like, this isn't personal. Like we know that's going to be developed, guys. Like it is, development is inevitable. But if the owner wants to build something, it's already predetermined that they can build it on the land with an
Special
exception.
exception doesn't mean that it's predetermined.
Well, not predetermined, but it is permittable under a zoning acceptance, right? Got it. So if that's what he's saying he wants to build, then let's go that route. Let's give him an opportunity. He can reapply in a few months if he doesn't want to build that or don't go through. A couple months down the line, he can reapply and go for, it's just the unknown, guys. We're living the unknown right now. 20 years ago, again, We've had dozens of neighbors that passed away that would have been here, and they were sold on a small housing development that would have an egress into our neighborhood. Fine, great. We all kind of sucked it up. We're waiting for those homes to be built. 20 years later, it's not built. They changed that from agricultural, which reduced I can't remember the percentage. This is what I'm asking. I mean, if you guys have to make a vote tonight, you have to make a vote tonight. But if you're able to table it and go look at like how much agricultural land we've lost, again, looking at the future, that was like in order for us to stay a township of the first class, if we still are, I believe we are, you have to have a minimum of all different zones. And we lost 17 acres or whatever it was back 20 years ago. There's not much more to lose, guys. There's plenty of open commercial development to put houses and nursing homes and everything. Again, I respect you guys. We're for development. We're not voting on a nursing home, you guys, right now. Everyone mentioned nursing home. It's not happening. It's not happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for the public, we're not opening this up for comment right now. That was a Commissioner Tucky thing. That's not the order of these meetings.
No, this is a lifetime.
I understand that, but the time to have the comments was during the hearing. I'm trying to keep order for the meeting. Again, not easy to run these meetings. So, but we're going to get back on track with regard to, why we're here and what we're doing. So do any commissioners have any further comments at this time? Go ahead. Yep.
All due respect, I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to be out of line, but we have two more residents who'd just like to add something. I'm just requesting that happens, please.
Then what I'll do is take consensus from the board.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
We know how that vote's going to go, but I think they could speak if they would like to add more to the conversation.
If it's something new, if you're opposed to it, you're going to repeat that you're opposed to it, and you're going to say the special exception. This man's the property owner, and he has decisions to make. To take a chance that he'd have to go through more red tape, we wouldn't do that to you. If you had a set process to get something done, we wouldn't add to it and then put more requirements. So I'm not opposed to somebody coming up if they have something to offer that is new or different, but I feel like we're just going to have people who are set in their ways saying the same thing. So I will defer, but
I'm fine with public comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead. Yes. I'm just going to ask that everyone actually keep to the 3 minutes or less, because again, we have another hearing that we have to get to, and then we have to get to the actual meeting still.
I'm Jim Pugh. I live at 5057 Lilac Lane. My question is, I think years ago was, what is going to be done with the sewage? Because they were talking about, that's all septic down there. And years ago, I believe when we were here, they were talking about maybe running a sewer line through the neighborhood, and then maybe we would have to attach to it, so forth, at the cost, I think it was $3,000. So how is that going to be handled? The sewage part of it, because it's all septic down there.
I'll get rid of that misconception of, because I'm the chairman of the sewer authority. And I think the current board that I have, that when I say what I'm about to say, I think they'll stick with it. And since I've been the chairman of the sewer board and the board that is currently there now, you can guarantee that if a sewer line does come through there, you will not have to connect into it. Okay.
Still,
our planning process has been to stagger that line so you would not be mandated to connect into it.
But now if it
The law
does come.
states 100 feet. It has to be 100 feet from the
150.
150, maybe it's
the pump
150.
station.
What I'm trying to say-
It actually depends based upon the districts and the way the rates, rules, and regulations are set. It is true. It's based upon the districts and the way the districts are.
But as of now, you don't know what it's going to be, if it's going to be sewer or septic.
It's going to be sewer, but you're not going to be mandated to hook up.
Is it going to run through the neighborhood?
It's going to run through a portion of the
So
whole
now you're
backside
talking
of
about
Chambers.
tearing up the roads and so forth in the neighborhood, correct?
Yeah, but that's all part of laying infrastructure regardless.
But I'm just saying, you're
That
tearing
plan.
up the neighborhood. You're tearing up our neighborhood. I lived there since 1982. You're tearing up our neighborhood. You're tearing up the roads and all, you know. And eventually, I feel you're going to say, hey, you're going to have to hook to that sewer line. And I don't agree with that. I totally disagree with that.
I can just reaffirm for you again that there's already a plan in place that's been in place for some considerable time before I even got on the board where that sewer line's going to go, and it has no hookup.
Will we know how it's going to run through the neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, if it has to come through your property, there'll be contacts made to you, but even the route that it has to take currently, right now in the planning process, it does not mandate one Swatara Township resident to hook up the sewer that doesn't have sewer currently, sir. Those protections are in place.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you. And I do want to say that was a very good question, so I do appreciate that.
That was a great question.
That was.
And I just want to say that was a topic that was at the Planning Commission at 2 meetings. So other people had the same question. So appreciate you bringing it up tonight for people that didn't hear the answers there.
All right. Again, do any commissioners have anything else at this time? And I'll open it up if there's anyone that wants to come and say something new to add to the discussion that's been taking place. Now is the time to do so. All right. I'm going to do Secretary Savage, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Tuckey?
No. No.
Was that a no?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Zubek?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Vice President Steele?
Yes.
President Ellis?
Yes. All right. So that is approved 4-1, and that's going to be ordinance O-2025-6. And again, that was 9B. So now the time is 8:21. We're going to go into our third and final hearing. 8:22 actually, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to Solicitor Cocorisi.
Thank you. We have another request for a zoning map amendment, and I'll just kick it right to Mr. Golden for the overview.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a zoning map amendment application from Prestigio LLC and 900 Keckler Road LP to rezone Dauphin County tax parcels 63-062-062, which has no address, 63-062-125, which I'll refer to as 5150 Lindell Road, and tax parcel 63-062-129, which I'll refer to as 5100 Lindell Road. The applicant is seeking to change the zoning classification of 63-062-062 from agriculture to medium density residential, 5150 Lindell Road from agricultural to limited commercial, and 5100 Lindell Road from agricultural to limited commercial. The applicant submitted the application on May 30th of this year. The Board of Commissioners forwarded the amendment to the County and Township Planning Commission for review and comment on June 11th. The Township Planning Commission met on August 4th and September 2nd. Tri-County Regional Planning Commission review letter was received on August 4th. Staff mailed public hearing notification letters to 24 neighboring properties on October 20th. We placed newspaper advertisements in the Patriot News and Penn Live for the public hearing on October 23rd and October 30th. We posted the map amendment properties with the mandatory notices on October 31st, and then now we're holding our mandatory public hearing. As I mentioned, Tri-County provided their memo. They did not recommend approval or denial. However, they provided comments. Please see the review memo that was included with the staff memo. They're very minor comments. The Township Planning Commission They met on August 4th, they tabled the application, and then on September 2nd, they voted unanimously 4-0 to recommend approval of the application. I'll turn my comments or my time over to the applicant.
Thank you, Zoning Officer Golden. Appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioners, for taking the time tonight. My name is Sean Delaney with Stevens and Lee, appearing on behalf of the applicant. Also with me is Mr. Navarro, who serves a dual role as the owner and engineer for the project. As you talked about in the last application, in a rezoning, sketch plans really don't matter, but we would actually like to start out by sharing the sketch plan and showing Mr. Navarro's vision for the property, and then talk about the nature of the specific requests for the rezoning. So, Mr. Navarro, please explain what the property is, and this property is immediately adjacent to the property we were talking about in the last hearing. So,
You may have seen this before, Paul Navarro and Wright, and also the property owner for 5150 Linden Road and 900 Kaplan.
Oh, you're going to have to stay close to the mic.
Okay.
There you go.
You do have one somewhere. But so some time ago, we actually purchased the Miller Farm, which is at the end of Stacy Drive. It was 12 acre. And adjacent to what is now known as Aspen Hill Apartments. And at the time, there was a plan moving through the sewer authority, the township, for extending sanitary sewer service to Chambers Hill, also affectionately known as the Southeast Drainage Basin. I was the engineer for the sewer authority at the time. So the property was rezoned for multifamily, same as the apartments next door. Right now, I'm going to refer to the exhibit, or just to show you the actual locations. This property right here. So it abuts the apartments. It also abuts the Reynolds Farm, which you're all familiar with, which is owned by the McNaughton Company. So as Joel very articulately described, the corridor is now populated by all types of businesses, restaurants, etc., and more to come with the mixed-use rezoning across the street. We would like to extend the RM zoning to what was known as the Veronicar Farm, because that will actually provide a traffic route to 441 rather than Stacy Drive. So that is one of the purposes, and it can be illustrated in the sketch plan that is a much more safe and conducive traffic pathway for multifamily residential. The farm, which is 5150 Lindell Road, is just an extension of the commercial corridor of 441. And I'm going to pull the sketch back. Yeah. We've been working on the farm, which was the Hoffman Farm, basically reconstructing some old barns and repurposing them. We've had quite a few family events, 2 weddings. My niece and my son Marcos was here. He was married there 2 years ago in September. And we'd like to open that up to the public. So we want to preserve most of it. Most of it is hilly, has a pond on it, which very scenic kind of property for the enjoyment of the folks. We have a lot of requests for weddings and other types of events. And that is the purpose, the primary use for the front of that property. The rest of it, you can see, is some more of the apartment buildings. We have single-family homes planned primarily for the Veronicar Farm, which abuts the neighborhood, the Crest over in Chambers Hill. It is not connected to the Crest because of the streams that run alongside the easternmost part of the property. So basically, this is what we intend to do with the new zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Navarro. So there's two components to this request. The property to the rear is already in the RM zone, and then the property in the front is in the agricultural zone. Mr. Navarro's vision for the frontage is to have an event space that really is tied to a vineyard. So the frontage of the property and actually going into the property to the back, the idea is to have a vineyard. And then there'll be a central building, which is where you could have events, and that's where wine sales would be. That to me is an agricultural use. So the problem is, in order to have the event center and the actual commercial component of the vineyard, it has to be in the commercial district. So we're proposing an agricultural use that has to be, part of it has to be in the commercial limited district, which is why we've asked that the front property be put into that district. As far as the property in the middle that's currently agricultural, requesting to go to RM, the idea is to have an extension of the existing RM zoning, which is on the property, that comes towards the CL portion, and then that gives you the ways of ingress and egress to Lindell Road. So that's the vision for the development. Again, as you discussed during the last hearing, it's just a sketch plan. We're not obligated to build that, but that's what Mr. Navarro wants to do, and this is a legacy project for him. And again, we talked about the sewage and the prior application. That would obviously have to be addressed with this as well. This isn't something that could be done with on-lot systems. So it would have to be an extension of the sewer system and an improvement to the infrastructure.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and see if any commissioners have any questions at this time.
Will there be any entrance out the back way to Stacy Drive on this at all? Like, will that, I guess that multi-residential will be able to come through, I guess, what you were saying, that your development come out on the 441?
But by ordinance, we would have to provide a second means of ingress and egress, yes.
Okay, okay.
Do any other commissioners have any questions at this time?
I do have a question on that. So people would be able to come out Lindell Road to go into what's now, is it Aspen Hills?
Right.
Come to the mic.
Yeah.
So in theory, you'd be taking traffic out of the direction of Keckler if people so choose. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, there will be, traffic would be split in both directions. So the main corridor would be the primary access to 441. But there would be, emergency vehicles or other traffic that could come out to Stacy Drive to the signal eventually.
But when the traffic came off of 441 and it went towards that RM where the apartments are, that's where it would come in, where the apartments are. If you hold it up, I might be able to see it. Yeah, I want to see where you're. Okay.
So it's the back end.
Yeah, so it's on the back side. It's not.
And wrap through, and then jump out here. So that whole neighborhood's gonna wind up.
So basically, that would be providing relief to the established neighborhood that has single-family homes. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. When I saw it on the color map with the districts, I wasn't sure with the zoning districts, but yeah, that makes more sense there. And there's, I'm not sure that you have to know this, but somebody I thought said, is there 324 apartments in Aspen? Was it that high? Okay.
That's what the program development plan says, 324.
Okay. Thank you.
So how much more traffic would be added with this project? Have we broken it down similar to the prior applicant?
I mean, by traffic manual, we applied
volumes for single-family, multi-family residents.
I mean,
Can I add to your question real quick?
And two, just when we're speaking, I'm going to ask that you use the microphone too, because those watching won't be able to hear.
Just to add to Commissioner
Thank you.
Zubek's question, I guess in the traffic study, is there any way to project that traffic also dumping into Lower Swatara? Because that's a quicker route to get on the highway too for the traffic numbers between either jumping on 283 on our side or jumping on 283 their side.
And there would be traffic counts, there would be a traffic impact study since we're talking about a PennDOT road, 441, which would look at all sorts of different routes, alternatives. We may be asked to look at a number of intersections for timing changes and all sorts of things. I think that's part of the land development plan.
Okay.
I think there would be a logical split based honestly on where people work. You know, you're gonna have traffic patterns that are really governed by that. Sir.
Okay, I just was curious, how many homes and how many apartments? Is this considered apartments on the back end or no?
Now, the area,
Microphone, Mike.
yellow,
Microphone.
it's 36 single-family homes.
Thank you.
70 townhomes, 24 urban row houses, which are smaller townhomes. These will be more affordable. And then the apartments is a total of 204 in the sketch. Whether that is the ultimate yield, it's going to depend on a number of factors, environmental factors, and all that.
Okay, sir, so I apologize, I didn't have my mic set right, I apologize. I didn't hear everything.
Say it, yeah.
So if you don't mind, 34 single homes. Okay,
And again, this is simply a sketch plan. 36 single-family homes, 24 townhomes, 66 urban row houses, and 204 apartments.
and what's the size of the lot, please, total?
It's the total acreage is 72 acres.
Thank you.
So if I'm not mistaken, President Ellis, this would not satisfy the concerns of the school district based on your comments?
No, most likely it would not.
Yeah, and the apartments are proposed in the area that's already zoned for that use. So it's actually not part of the application.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything right now before we turn it over to?
You said 72 acres total?
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you guys providing that information. And then we'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. And again, please state your name and address as well as write it down. And then you may begin.
Megan O'Neill, 5870 Bell Road. My only comment on this plan is why the residential single family wouldn't be subdivided so that the use can't be changed. I know that there's existing multi-family spaces near the 14A Club and by Garden, but I think that in order to do something and change the use like this, that the single family section should be subdivided off so that it does not change down the road. That's all.
Thank you. You can come forward.
GQ 5057 Lilac Lane. Now, earlier you stated about the other gentleman building residential homes, about to put the stress on the schools. Now, this gentleman's proposing how many units down there, and that going to put a stress on the schools too? So you're actually you know, you said you didn't want residential or about the residential there on the corner, but now he's telling you he's going to put all these units down there. Isn't that the same thing? It's going to put the stress on the school again, right?
Yes, ultimately, yeah.
But what's that's what I'm trying to say. What's the difference? You're saying you wanted to change this so he could do what he wanted to do, but now this gentleman's saying he wants to do residential and row homes and stuff.
And again, you said the area that you would do that is already zoned for, so.
But what I'm saying is you said you wanted to change that for him so he could do his commercial stuff, but yet you turn around saying, might say okay to this gentleman.
He could build that today.
What's that?
He could build that part of it today.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is earlier you said about the strain on the school.
Right, no, that's
so
still, that's absolutely
how many kids is this property going
that would
to
be a lot.
bring it on?
Yep.
So to me, you're contradicting yourself.
I mean, again, that could be developed today, so we don't have any say over that portion right now. That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what I'm arguing. What I'm saying is you said earlier about
yeah, it's a concern. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now you're turn around and maybe let this guy develop now.
I can't tell him he can't develop on land that's already zoned that way that he owns.
I understand that. What I'm saying is you said earlier.
Yes, I know what I said, and I stand by that. Absolutely,
okay.
100%. Yes,
but if he builds them properties, that's the same thing. It's going to put a strain.
The part that you're talking about isn't the part that we're talking about changing. That portion, that plan could go forward right now to our planning commission, and it's permitted. So we would have some say with regard to the land development. That portion is not the part that we're talking about in this hearing. So, I mean, it is a concern. Absolutely. I'm not going to change that statement. And that's something that we would have to work very closely with the school district to try to balance.
I think you're contradicting yourself. Because you're saying no to one, and then you're putting all these.
I'm not sure how. Again, with regard to the area that he is talking about putting homes, it is currently zoned that way. That's not what we're talking about changing. So the change wouldn't matter for that. He can build that right now. So it's not a contradiction because, again, it is still a concern for me. It absolutely is. I've said that numerous times now.
Right.
I said it before. I mean that. Like that doesn't change. So again, that is something that it's a permitted use. It's something that he could build, again, could submit a plan tomorrow. Okay. That's something that we would have to work with the school district to try to figure out the best way and alert them, let them know that that's coming. So it is a concern.
Mr. Tucky.
I think it was my turn. I'd asked her if I could go next. Now you're calling on Mr. Tucky. So, because I wanted to answer you.
He was trying to talk, so.
No, it doesn't matter who talks.
No, I just want to say, I agree with everything you're saying, but you're talking two parcels that are connected, 90 acres total. One of them, almost an 18 acre property, will have 0 homes. So we're complying with the school district. The other one, if you're looking at potentially 10 per acre, that's not what Mr. Navarro is doing. He's trying to spread out the property. So compare this to what we heard, 324 units. Does anybody know the acreage of Aspen Hills? But you see my point. So what if we're not having this conversation tonight, and on that same land we were looking at 3 of the other complexes? Now you've exceeded 900 homes. So I think you're right in the fact that we want to limit the amount of residential, and the president of the board is right on the fact that she wants to limit the residential, and the 2 plans that are before us tonight are limiting the residential. And I agree with what you say, just down the road, what if it's not these 2 landowners who have held this land for years and didn't put something in? But what if it was the same person? I'm not saying they were wrong or bad, but what if it was the same developer that had the apartment complex that the neighbors seem to have an issue with? This one is actually providing relief out of that apartment complex in another direction. Whereas what we heard from the residents is everybody in the 324 acres now is going through their single family home neighborhood. So I get a lot of what you're saying, but it seems like we're saying like any home, shouldn't be added. We agree with that, and we, I think for the school district, 300 homes, when I added up, Paul, Mr. Mayor, if I had that right, I think it was 300 for his. 72 acres is a pretty sizable area. We have some apartment complexes in the township that actually are on the size of the 17 acres that have 204, you know, they have more units in there. So we're not going to eliminate residential. We're trying to control it and keep the schools from becoming overcrowded. And the history of I mean, we heard Jamie, the history of the township and you know, if it was 20 years, I don't remember, but a lot more developments have come in. And I'll give you a perfect example. If you're familiar with Ivy Ridge and Chambers Knoll, there were no homes, just say 0 homes. And look how that was developed. It started off with spread out single family residential, then it went to townhomes, then it went to apartments, then it went to higher density townhomes. So you took a piece of land that maybe rivals theirs in size, and you put, if you add up all of those, you put 500 or 600 units on it. So I get what you're saying, and like to say that we're contradicting saying that we're trying to limit homes by allowing homes to go in that are less dense than other homes, we're actually agreeing with you on that. So I just wanted to be clear that these two plans, like we're not here tonight looking at, you know, I don't want to single out the apartment complexes because people live there. Right. But there are apartment complexes that ended up on a wooded area of the township or a farm that added the 324, the 204s, the 225s, where there was nothing. So, you know, I'm not looking to develop. I like trees and farms and deer. That's why I moved to Swatara Township. I'm very fortunate I have a 2-acre piece of property. But over time, townhomes were built next to me, and I have 16 neighbors, where if that wasn't there, I wouldn't have had, you know, it could have been a single family home. So I think we're all trying to balance this. The easiest thing would be to say, we don't want anything new. We're losing court. The property owner has rights, the developer has rights, but we're not opposing you or disagreeing with you in that concept of trying to limit good development. And again, I'm not going to go back and say the other ones are bad now. They're our neighbors. They live here. They're not going away. But we could really stress all of our services, police, taxes, water, sewer, and everything else, if we don't try to look for options that are less intense than some other ones. So, and I'm sorry, but and if I took Mike's spot, I had asked if I could go next while you were up there. So.
Can I answer your question?
Have you?
Yes, what was the acre question?
If you don't mind.
Can you guys flip flop just so he can
Just so
speak
he can
into the
say-
mic? But yeah, you don't have to go anywhere if
Thank
you
you.
still had more.
I mean, we're answering your questions. So.
I pulled up the site plan for Aspen Hill Apartments is 5.5 acres, 324 is 58 units to the acre. We're proposing 3.5 units to the acre. 3.5 compared with 58 that are already there. Just the order of magnitude of how.
300 units in that neighborhood, it's a lie. Come on.
Pardon me?
There's not 300 apartments on that.
We're gonna, if you have comments, you can come
I just was
forward.
asking-
I'll be up, Tom. I'm just going to wait a second.
Well,
There's
was the number?
324 apartments.
324. Yeah, the number came. I mean, I just was repeating it, so I don't know. But
Do we have any other comments from the public at this point?
Hi, I'm Karen Bowman, and I'm really here for my son's property at 5938 Curran Drive. First, I want to say I'm a big believer in when you own your own property, if you're doing within the limits of the codes, you should be allowed to. As a homeowner and a business owner in another township, I really am a firm believer on that. But I didn't see that plan, and I'd love to take a peek at it because where my son lives, he's at the ravine where the creek is, and then you got the big hill. We were just curious on how close, what's going to be up top there. Are you planned? And I know these could all change many times. I understand that. But is it going to be the apartments back there, or that's where the homes? So we wanted to take a peek. And then we also had questions about lighting. We have a nice wooded area. We'd like to keep it that way. But we understand when you have houses, you need street lights, and apartments, you need lighting. I know there's codes that deal with that. We were just trying to get a feel on what we may encounter as this development happens. And on a secondary side note, you just should have bought my property.
So we're constrained by. I'm letting Neil find his house and then go.
Yeah, let's find Neil's house.
And once we figure it out, if it could be reiterated into the mic so that everyone can.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, figure it, but just once we have an actual answer.
Can I make a suggestion that when you do these like other townships and put them up on the board
That's,
so we can all see?
we're trying to get there. That's the intent.
What's your buffer zone? I mean, it looks large.
Well, we have the stream, so we have by DEP a 50-foot riparian buffer, 25 feet on each side of the stream, so we can't develop anything in here.
Yeah.
So you're
way.
I'm right here.
we have the single-family homes coming here.
So these would be the single families, not the apartments.
Where are you at?
I'm right here. So
Oh,
I believe
okay.
your son's building a house right behind me.
Trying to, yeah.
On that big hill? No. I will say no to that.
Okay.
That's what we wanted to see, what was happening.
Thank you.
Karen, while you're up there.
Thank you.
Say, did we want to address the lighting thing, or you're good at this point?
Yeah, I'm good. I knew there's lighting, there's plenty of buffer there,
Okay.
and it's just very peaceful there, and I appreciate
Right.
what he's doing, and I, wish everybody that builds the best, but, being a resident there of 50 years myself, I agree with a lot of that. We like to keep Chamber Hill the way it is, but, you got to develop, you got to grow, so I appreciate that. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments at this point? If you could, please, just for record-keeping purposes, and then if you state your name and address as well.
Good evening. My name is William Dam, and we live at 5210 Linville Road. So we live right adjacent to where the proposed is looking to build a vineyard. Our main concern is primarily the impact to our house and that area that surrounds it. So mainly concerns would be traffic, noise, light, how long that stays open, because we've had instances, and we've never really complained about it, where they'll hold their events and it lasts like until 2 a.m. And my room is at the edge, so I can readily hear everything whenever I open my window. And I can still hear it when it's closed. So I think there's concerns if they're looking to build a vineyard, especially with our house and the direct land to it, as well as if they're building to the back side as well. So I guess please keep that in consideration for your decisions. Understanding that it's his property. We just don't want, disturbances, especially since my parents work on 3rd. They were asleep during the day. So whatever they're doing, if it's construction, anything really that's really noisy. We don't have a sound barrier. It's just open land. There's no trees that'll dampen that sound at all. So the request is just please keep that into consideration if you guys are looking to approve of what their plan is. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Do you have any other?
James Mamager, 860 MacArthur Drive. We know Paul pretty well. He's the gentleman who spoke to us 20 years ago about the plot of land that y'all just approved from agricultural. Same thing that we're doing right here. I think his idea is spectacular for that piece of land. I would ask one question though. Does the additional loss of agricultural land, square footage in our township put us up to being considered a lesser of a township? I don't know what have we looked at that? Because that was a big concern about keeping our first class condition as a township, tax breaks, all this other stuff, whatever it may be. is the loss, is being required to have a certain percentage of each zone in the township. I wish I knew this stuff. I could speak more articulately about it. I mean, does somebody know that? Did we ask that? Did this go out for, did Dauphin County Commission come back and say, hey, no, you can change more agriculture land over, your first class designation is fine, or is that not the case?
I think Zach would probably.
Zach, I'm sorry.
It's a
Solicitor
question.
Cocorese is gonna.
Yeah, it's a question of population density, not specific zones or amounts of those zones. It's based on population per square acre.
Okay, so however many residents that this would add
Square
to
mile.
it, it's fine. Okay, cool, thanks.
I'm gonna look it up. If there's any other comments, please come forward. I'm gonna try to look it up real quick for what it actually says for first class
As long as
township.
we're not at risk for losing that classification.
No, and I'm interested
It says,
people per square mile.
There you go.
Yeah, Tom, that was a big, when all this
Agricultural land keeps turning over to different zoning, right? It always, the question that when I've come to the meetings was that other people have raised that I'm just concerned because I want to live in a first class township, right? I want to provide great services for people, great resources for people. You know, the more, again, I appreciate you guys, like, you know, the taxing on that, you know, this kind of sounds, but a little contrary to what we were just saw. Like, I just wish like the developers would build what they say, but you're not debating on that right now. This is just a zoning change. So my concern is more about the zoning and the classification. If it's not a concern of the board, then it's not a concern. Like,
I just, my memory is, and I'm older than you. You were young.
Well, we're close.
Young activist, but
you were on our side last time, Tom.
Well, that was a question that was brought up, but I think the answer was the same then. But the feeling back then was to lose agriculture land. I mean, you think about right across the street from us. That was before J.C. Penney's. So people really saw it going in those years, and then the population also went from 15,000 to 29,000. So there's more people. So the resistance to the change is less now in the overall population, but your elected officials and your people appointed to planning and zoning still are looking out for the best interest of the residents. So and like I said, I agreed with you. I wasn't an elected official. I was a citizen.
No, you were a citizen at the time. You were standing right here talking like we were.
Right, because we had lost Amp and Tyco, but they went to Lower Swatara, not far from you, and they built on land that wasn't land. And we had a tremendous amount of office space, and we still have to deal with that. Most places that have office parks now are concerned about blight because people don't work in office parks anymore. So you're going to have these massive buildings. So imagine had that gone through. Right now, there'd be this, first you would have complained about all the people that were there and, the traffic in and out, but now we'd be worried about this big building that had to be repurposed to something else because people are working from home. So there's good development, there's bad development. Smaller scale residential, which Mr. Navarro is putting in with an event site. And for the gentleman that spoke, I think there'll be more regulation on his hours and traffic now that it's commercial than what he can do on his private residence. So you're saying that there were already events that you felt may have potentially inconvenienced you. Now, try that when he's running a business. It's not going to happen. He's going to have to comply. And the same thing, adding a road out of an area, and I don't know whether it's 324. Don't see what you're getting
there's 12 office buildings with 12 apartments in each of them. I don't know where I walk there every morning at 6:30 with my dog. I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna count them tomorrow.
I don't have the fingers and toes, but if
I just really wish
there's
like
1224s or something, it could add up to that.
300. That's news to me, Paul.
But I wasn't disputing it because I had heard that. Just to be clear, in the planning commission meetings, I'm not on the planning commission. I was in the audience. I mean, I'm talking about this year.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't see you, and I didn't know where you were.
Well,
and I saw you leave here once and come back.
You guys were saying all the notices that you put up. We didn't get a lot of us didn't see the notice until it landed in our neighborhood. I mean, that's how. Look, we found out we're here. I guess it was too late at that point, right? To this point, we should have come earlier. It caused more of a sting, like. It's cool. Look, again, it's somewhat personal because the same, like, again, I think what he wants to do on the Hoffman farm, awesome. I drive by that place all the time and think, man, that would be great for a winery and a wedding venue. I thought it was, with all the development that's happened there already. Like, you see, it's brewery tours, you can do all that stuff right now. That's awesome, right? That makes me feel great. But I just have to question, the same gentleman who did the plot of land that we just approved lied to me 20 years ago. And I like the guy.
You keep saying lie. He was planning to do a project that he didn't do. So you still have what you had. So,
but he pled with the commissioners to change the zoning to get the approval to build. That does not change. And he came back and did it again. It did
but
it
that
again.
didn't mean he had the money or the ability or the time or he was raising his children or somebody was sick. Just because he got approval to do something doesn't mean he had to do it.
But we didn't even approve that tonight. We approved a zoning change, and we're going to do another one. So, again, Tom, I think you're a great guy. I let you hit home with me when you said about when you moved to the township. My father moved here, saw the farmland, loved it. I'm pro-development, but I just want trusted developers that would involve the community, and we can rally around them. That's it.
I appreciate your activism and your compassion. Let's leave it at that.
All right. Do we have any other commenters at this time?
Just a quick question. As a wedding venue owner, I appreciate your pain, or the pain you're going to have. Is there a noise ordinance in this township? Yeah. So that'll protect all the residents from any excessive noise, correct?
What would that ordinance be, if you don't mind?
Oh my God.
There is a noise ordinance. There's all kinds of.
Yeah.
What's that? Is it what is it? Do you know off the top of your head what the quiet time is?
Noise ordinance.
When the quiet time is.
For outdoor venue.
I don't know the specific time, but there's a specific decibel.
Okay, so there's a noise ordinance all the time based on how loud the noise
how
is.
loud it is.
And then there could be time regulations.
There's a time, I believe it's 10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken.
It's,
So that would protect-
it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All
Once there's
unnecessary
the
noise is
decibel.
prohibited.
So once
There is
there's
no time of day.
licenses.
It's 24 hours a day.
Okay. So once there's licenses, then any noise that somebody may be experiencing now. Neil said he heard it. They were banging. He enjoyed the music. But after they get licensed and to be a legal venue rather than a family event, then there are, restrictions that would stop some of that noise.
And there'll be the land development portion of this too, so we can have input there. And again, that I'm glad that was brought forth now, so that can be a consideration for the planning commission and for us.
I understand the
if we get to
noise
the point
thing
of that.
as a venue owner, I understand that sometimes you get loud and all that. But I thought that was a good point. Somebody who lives close, because I have neighbors. I think one of my neighbors is here tonight. I don't know if you still live there or not, but it's a concern I had as a venue owner. I thought that
actually live right
behind her. I thought he did.
venue.
Yeah.
Off the Fullerton Road.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know if you still lived there.
I enjoy the music on Saturday afternoons.
Usually get outdoor music and stuff, but I know as a venue owner, and I just felt as a neighbor to that gentleman that that's an important thing
It is,
that
absolutely.
should be addressed.
Yep.
That it's different if you have a home barbecue and you're blaring your music at night, you may get a noise complaint, but as a venue owner, it's a little stricter. And those things probably will change. So, I think it's great. We're looking we want that wine.
Karen,
Just
can I just address one thing?
It's 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
You can't read everything, or you can't believe everything you see on Facebook.
That's
but
true.
I feel like I might be a little heartbroken. Are you going out? So we won't be able to blame the noise on Harmony Hall.
Not on me.
Not
anyway.
on you.
Not on me.
The next question, and I hate to take up the timer. So it's going to continue the same type of venue with new owners, or you don't know?
Well, I sold it to a developer, and the developer wants to keep the property as an event venue, so there is someone who's leasing it. I lease it to the developer lease it from him. I'm traveling. I don't want anything to do with it. 35 years in the business, I'm done, so.
Enjoy your travels.
Thank you. That was very nice of you to say that.
All right. Do we have any other commenters at this point that would like to come forward and say anything on the record? Going once, going twice. All right.
Wait.
Okay, sorry. Yep. Nope.
And this will be mainly to your question, so my dad just has a question regarding how you're,
Sorry, just because the residents watching won't be able to hear.
Okay. So my dad just has a question to you regarding just the road building of the vineyard. So if for some reason, and maybe this is more of a civil matter that we should discuss privately, if for some reason we want to connect into the road that you guys have already built, is that something that you would be, I guess, favorable to, or is that something that you would be against? That's his main question.
We would just have to design the point of connection, sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Again, going once, going twice. If anyone wants to come forward, you may do so. All right. So at this point, I'm going to close it. Did you want to say something? You sure?
No,
You close
I
it.
just had a question.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Mr. Navarro, I just have one question. With the way you're planning on having this built, is it going to affect any resident existing there right now with having to hook up to sewer?
That's a good question.
With the chairman of the sewer authority who spoke about that matter earlier.
Appreciate that.
But, you know, obviously this type of development, could not occur without public sewer. And the plan is been submitted to DEP, the Act 537 plan that calls for sewer lines all through the Chambers Hill area to the Swatara plant along 322 via several pumping stations, which are, I think the distance from the existing residential areas are pretty far. So
Those lines are staggered. Yeah.
So whenever those houses are required to connect, the Crest or other that have failing systems, that's not part of this plan.
Right. My question is, with this plan, the way you want to bring it forward,
would it force?
Or is it going to force any resident that's already living in that area to hook up? That's the only question I have.
I would have to look into the regulations as far as if there is someone within a certain distance that is required to connect, we would be prepared to pay the cost for the affected, property owners. I believe we have
So you would take care of
expressed
the
that.
cost if it does happen for any of the residents that live in that area?
So if anyone's 150 feet, within 150 feet of the
It's
line,
not
they would,
150 feet.
yeah.
It's not 150 feet.
Yes, it was.
It's by district.
No, it's not.
The 100.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Steve, can
what
you
I'll
please
say is the
correct-
150
No, you're
feet that we're
incorrect.
talking
Because
about.
when the backbone was brought
Steve, can you
up
handle this,
Chambers
please?
Hill
Yeah.
and it stopped right at the top of Chambers Hill Road, that was not based on district, that was based on feet.
The information that we had with regard to
Yes.
that project.
Yes.
The township's ordinance does have a distinction depending on the district, what that number of feet is.
We're
I
both
don't recall
speaking
which
to
is
what we
which.
learned
Yeah.
from the
I
original.
used to think that the whole time too.
Yeah.
The simple answer is
And it was
no. It will not,
150.
it will not require folks to connect with this
Okay,
development.
no, but if it would, you're saying you're willing to take care of that, is what you said?
It was.
Yes,
It
sir.
was the CG. That was what we.
Just to clarify.
They're not going to be affected. If anyone is affected within the certain distance of the main lines that we're proposing that
Right.
we need.
Yeah, but it's such a hypothetical question because we already know where the backbone project's going to be. We know where majority of, like the different phases of the Mid-Dalton projects, let's say Chambers Point, for instance, where that's going to be. That's going to be part of this backbone project.
It
Where
stopped
you're-
150 feet short so that people were not forced to hook on. And I remember the language of the document that was provided at the time. So that was part of the agreement.
You're right, that it would not be.
Correct.
Right. That's, yes. We're arguing to say,
Not arguing.
we're not going to come closer than whatever that district would say that you would have to hook to sewer. That has been well thought out and well planned out. Now, if you decide to build a house in the middle of that line, that's a different situation, a brand new house. That's something different. And I don't know where it was saying legally, I'm not asking for a legal opinion, if you would have a failing system that would be close to that line, what would be required? I don't know that one.
Neither do I.
But regardless, it would have nothing to do with this development if it goes through this
No.
way. That's all I want to know. Thank
We're
you,
not
sir.
forcing anyone to hook.
Appreciate it.
Want to raise my hand?
Go.
Okay, come up.
Hi, my name is Sean. And neighborhood with that guy. My leg not good, you know. Only ensemble because I need inflammation at me, at the guy. We can connect it, the goal or not. I need he answer right now. Because if not, we need the township approval or we do again the make sure how far that the land, the goal, that one for us or for him. Because I'm not sure now. For the when I just take the home for my brother, he showed me that over that one. But the gentleman, he say someone that lie right now on the mailbox. But I'm not sure. That's why I regret. We can use the gold that one or not. If not, I regret. You are approved for we do again. Make sure which one for my land, which one for him.
There's nothing that he's going to do that's going to eliminate any rights that you already have. If you want to work with Mr. Navarro on something, that's a private thing. That's not for us. That's your property to his property. So it seems like there's a lot more questions that could be worked out between the two neighbors. But anything that you legally have, right away or thing like that won't change. But I will be clear, sometimes when somebody lives on a property for a long time, they're used to cutting through a certain way or they expand their borders. So it's all going to depend on the legal description of your land. Mr. Navarro had answered, was that your son? Yes, that's your son. So he did ask him the question. I don't know if you heard the answer, that if is it possible? And yeah. I mean, but that's not something we're going to hold Mr. Navarro or you to. But the answer is.
That means I ask you right now because on the front of the pot, I want to know we can do or not.
Yeah, as long as we can discuss that point of connection.
Yeah, that okay. Is he okay?
Yeah.
If he's not,
And
I need to do again.
If there are any other concerns and things like that during the land development plan, once, at the planning commission, that would be a good time to bring those concerns forward too. So, if this portion that you're talking about, like we said, is something that would be between just the two of you, but if there's anything about the project as a whole that is a concern, there will be, when a plan is submitted, it's sent to our planning commission. We have public meetings. They're the first Tuesday of every month. And the agenda is posted on our Facebook page and on our website. Look and see if this plan is on there. Like, just keep an eye out each month, and then you can bring other concerns and questions to that and have them addressed as well.
I only you leave it. If we need, we don't need now. The reason I asked the gentleman like that, because when I buy the house on the 2004.
Okay.
That the action, the guy told me that the over that one, and the owner before sell the document asked me, you need to sell something, or he made the goal. I don't know what mean or which one he do, but right now the goal the government open, that means. On my leg,
Right.
I'm not sure. That's not true. That's why I mentioned that.
I'm not sure what you were told in 2004. It could be 100% accurate, but I think, you're talking to a person who's a neighbor and is doing, a project. This, you could be coming here and it could be somebody else that bought this from, another state, and you wouldn't be able to have the conversation. So, as the president of the board said, if it's something that comes before us and you have a dispute or a concern or something we can help you with, we will. But it sounds like right now you have a conversation with a neighboring property to work out. And, at least you're having the conversation. That doesn't always work. Some neighbors
and
don't
have the contact now too.
For me, it's not big deal, because the goal we need, right now we not use, we not laying that one. But something we emergency or something else we need to go without to go not much, or behind my land, exactly on my land. That's why we need something. We need when we need, we can get another vote, not a exit, That's it like that, Yeah, thank you.
Just to be clear, you didn't know the answer yesterday or a week ago or a month ago, and you might not get it tonight, but you have a chance to talk and work it out. So, I think you're at a better point tonight than you were before you came in.
Thank you. Say it again. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak during this hearing and have their comments recorded on the record? All right. So then, at this point, I will close it out. Okay. So the time is 9:15 p.m. We're going to close out the hearing number 3. And we are going to go to item 9C, consideration of ordinance zoning map amendment application. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll open this up for discussion by the commissioners, see if there's anything else that's left to be said. Go for it. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just grateful, Mr. Navarro, that you're willing, if by chance the resident will be affected, that you're willing to help with that cost. So I appreciate that. And overall, personally, I think it's a fair, decent plan. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to state too on the record, that's been something that's been a concern with plans that came before us too for me with regard to sewer. So that is reassuring to hear that from you as well.
I share the sentiments of the rest of the board, but I also want to thank you for your vision in bringing something different and exciting to Swatara Township. I feel like we don't have a lot of opportunity for entertainment in our township, and I think a wedding venue is a really nice idea, and I think as long as people are staying within parameters of the 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., we're good to go. But thank you so much.
Thank you. And the only other thing I want to say is I appreciate the engagement from the public. This is not typical to have this many people at our meetings, and we always welcome feedback. We always want to hear from you. So don't be a stranger. You can come on other nights too. So, all right. Does anyone have anything else? All right. Secretary Savage, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Taki?
Yes.
Commissioner Zubek?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Vice President Steele?
Yes.
President Ellis?
Yes. So that is going to be ordinance O-2025-7.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep. All right. So now we are going to go back into the order of the regular meeting. We stopped off at item 6. So again, now we have visitors' requests and comments. If anyone wants to come forward and speak to the regular meeting, please do so. Write your name and address, and then you may begin your comments. Your pen didn't work.
Deborah Knowles, 6080 Hocker Drive. I'm waiting to hear the latest status of the Attorney General's investigation into the false allegations that were made against Bressler Fire Company almost 2 years ago.
I don't have an update at this point. I can look through and see when the last time I heard from someone was, but that's all that I'll have at this point.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And those were false allegations. Now, Tom Connolly's false allegations are done too much. In early 2024, he publicly confessed to falsely accusing Jeff Varner of wrongdoing before the November 2023 election to cost him the election, even though Tom confessed that he was the one who did it and not Jeff. And then he taunted the public by saying, "The voters just voted me in for 4 more years and there's nothing you can do about it." You think. Just
I don't think I ever said that.
it's on record. It was at one of these meetings. Shane, at the last public commissioners meeting, you again made a palm scum decision to show how unprofessional and disrespectful you are by name calling, berating, and bullying good citizens of the township during your commissioners' comments. You don't see our Dauphin County commissioners acting unprofessional like this, so why do you? Whatever happened to following Robert's rules? You called Randy names, verbally abused him, and bullied him at the end of a fire rescue meeting for visiting a neighboring fire company and volunteer fire company and gleaning information as to what makes them successful. And then he shared it during public comments to help give the fire leadership ideas on how to make us more successful. Then you proceeded to bring your bad behavior into the next 3 township commissioners meetings by continuing to do the same thing in your commissioner's comments after he publicly introduced himself and nicely called out your bad behavior in a public segment of that first commissioner's meeting. Then, of course, you had to make negative comments about Commissioners Tuckey and Zubek that twisted the truth and tried to pass them off as real truth. You forget that some of us have been attending these meetings for over 13 years, and we see the truth as it happens. We also watch social media and see firsthand what's going on, so it's harder to pull the wool over our eyes. Please impress me in the future by refraining from showing how low life you want to be, and please start making better decisions. Also, please stop goading people into arguing with you in our public forum. We are not here to hear your rantings of a madman. We are here to hear about the township and be able to have pride in our township commissioners, like we do for Commissioners Tuckey and Zubek. Remember, God is always watching and is still in control no matter what. He does not like the evil things some of you have been doing, and he will discipline you by delving out a righteous justice that you deserve sooner than you think. And when he does, you will have no doubt where it's coming from. Unless you repent and change, but that's between you and God.
Ms. Knowles, August 8th is the last time that someone from the Attorney General's office reached out to me. Yep.
I appreciate the biased opinion, but I didn't say anything to Commissioner Zubek or Commissioner Tuckey last meeting that wasn't true, and I'll continue to say what I say to Mr. Conway when it relates to public servants, volunteers, and our military when they are attacked online. I will always take a hardline stance, and then lastly, I'll reiterate this for anyone.
You have.
Can I talk?
So
Did I interrupt you?
Honestly,
we attacked the military online. Is that what you want to
because
tell people? We
doing
attacked the
visitors
military
requesting
online.
And then
Are you sticking to that lie?
Lastly, anytime you feel a need to attack the woman that I've been with for 25 years who bared 5 of my children, I'm going to defend them. Any man is going to defend their spouse when someone tries to attack them.
We didn't attack anyone.
Because
You, on the other hand,
Okay, this is over. We're at visitors requesting
we were
comments.
responding to.
Right.
Yeah.
I tried one answer, but yeah, no, I apologize for allowing. I apologize for allowing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But we are at visitors requesting comments. Those kind of things can be addressed by commissioners during their comments at the end of the night. So
Good.
For visitors, if you have any comments at this point, please come forward, state your name and address, and then you may begin, because this is your time to speak.
Hello, Josh Lincoln, 1315 Highland Street. Yes. So I'm here to kind of ask about the Highland Street connectivity project, and why it changed from 2021's plan to the February 2025 plan, where it changed the proposed sidewalk route from straight down Highland Street to taking a turn on 2nd and then back Horner Avenue.
I believe it was, their main reason was because of the slope. If you're familiar with
It's my house, so yeah.
so your house is the house that was moved from another location?
Correct.
Okay, so because of the slope of not just your front yard,
Yes.
but then the drop off.
Okay.
So for those reasons, there is an existing easement where it would turn where they do the movie at the church.
Correct.
And then go down, I want to call that Horner.
Yes, Horner Avenue.
And the other reason was, at the time, there was going to be an attempt to salvage any of the old
Part of the farm.
Correct. Which, if you saw what happened as dirt was moved, there was nothing holding that together as trees were pulled out. So we're actually looking to reclaim what we can of the stones and use that in the historical kind of marker at the entrance to the park. So you have two different terrains there. I don't know that other than in a concept, anything was just drawn straight across. Any meetings that I was in, it was going behind, and a lot of the parks you'll see are like that now. It's not a sidewalk or a pathway right along a road. So it's in, and it just was the nature of the park. And the connectivity then is back on, if that was your original question, because the school property originally was going to go down Highland Street across two properties, and there's a little bit of a slope and embankment issue there, but not major, and then cross the school, not right on the street either, but a little bit in the interior, and then go to the school driveway, original plan, and then it was going to go all the way to the park. The price went up. I don't know if you've been following this, but like 2-3 months ago, we had to make the decision not to go with the full connection in this phase. And I don't want to speak like 100%, but I think we heard in the last 7 to 10 days that the project is now going to be funded by PennDOT, and it will be a complete connectivity. So
State road, so it makes sense.
Yeah, well, we got.
They weren't going to originally.
There's multiple different funding things, but we competed and we got a grant for I want to say $550,000 of what we thought was a $650,000 project. The township was going to put $50,000. The school district agreed to put $50,000. And then as time went on, it got priced out. And by the time it went to development, that $659,000 project in 2021 was now, I want to say 1.5 or maybe even 1.9. Yeah, 1.8. And we weren't going to do it, only not because we didn't think it was important, but we didn't feel justified in spending township taxpayer money on a project that we felt there were two other entities that had more money that could do it. So the school district and that being a state road, we just couldn't justify, and I know you didn't ask this, but very similar to what you see going on the other end of the connectivity project, which is Eisenhower Boulevard.
Absolutely.
From Lindell to Highland. It's been a concern of this township for many years, long before any of us were on the board. And multiple different plans came up. All of them included the township footing some type of bill or payment, whether it was lighting, intersection improvement. It's a state road. It didn't sit well with other commissioners, myself, but we were willing to do it for a safety project in our community. And that amount went from 180 to 540,000 at one point. Again, that's very prohibitive for us. And we want to do these things, but if you can only do it in one spot with that amount of money, we backed off of it a little bit. And I would like to think that the partnership with PennDOT has improved, but you have to remember they took 82 properties off the tax roll in the township, and they're doing a $2 billion project. Myself, other commissioners on both sides of me here have had different roles in roadway and public works, like as the committees changed over the years. So the township as a whole, with lots of commissioners over lots of years, wanted to see this done, all these projects, but just doesn't have the money to do it. And we're very close now. I think we have an approval to actually connect the two. And you see if you've been up there, you see what's going on. That is beautiful curbing and sidewalk. we're not paying anything now.
Yep.
And that has happened, and again, I don't know where, but we had that at 28th and Sycamore. The old traffic signals that were hanging on wires that you don't see hardly anywhere anymore, especially on a busy street like that. We were looking at certain expense there. It's getting up to, a couple $100,000. And that was done primarily with PennDOT funding, because they have to make sure the parallel roads are accessible during this. Like, we're inconvenienced now with the projects. It's going to be a major project cut right through the middle of the township. So
Sure, and I'm aware of that. My two major concerns with this is, the first is the main part of the connectivity project is for people to safely walk up and down Highland Street, and now you're pushing people to walk a block in and then walk a block over to then come back down. So it kind of negates that. And then in addition to that, the easement of which you're talking of is what's called a paper street. So that 3rd Street connectivity never happened up above there, and originally it was supposed to. So there's a little bit of a legal standing. My neighbor that lives behind me, her and I have a 20-foot easement for Horner Avenue if it were to have ever gone through. Back in the 60s, it never went through. So there's strong legal standing where after 21 years where the township does not use that, they negate those privileges, and it reverts back to the residents. In this case, myself and my neighbor above me. So not only have we not been informed about this change, which it had changed, but you need an agreement upon the residents that easement abuts onto the land, and a 51% approval. So we've not been informed of anything. And then there's also the legal aspect of it, which 21 years is long coming past. I've been there almost 10. They've been there pretty much since the house was built. So that's really the large concern where it directly impacts me. However, from the community standpoint and also a family standpoint, I go from having a sidewalk in front of my house where people will utilize versus somebody's not going to go a block out of their way to use the trail or use the path when they will continue to just walk straight down Highland. So it kind of negates the whole point of the safety aspect of a sidewalk. And in addition, now my children who can play in the backyard currently are now susceptible to a lot of public access. So that's where the concern is from a personal standpoint, not just from the easement perspective as well.
So
I just want to...
for this, the item that's on the agenda right now, it's us approving for them to move forward with like the scope of the design.
Correct, and I wasn't even aware of that when I planned to come today.
That's what
so it just coincided.
Yeah, but that's something that we've heard the concern now. We can either with the solicitor or with the engineer, if you wrote your name and address, if you want to write an email as well.
Okay.
We can try to see how that will work with regard to the design.
Because I don't disagree. I have to mow it every single 3 weeks, all spring, summer, and fall. It is a steep hill. You would pretty much have to engineer some type of retaining wall.
I mean, I don't know where we're at, but this is the first time I'm hearing this. And if it got to the point where the conversation happened, I'm just going to be clear that you are not concerned about the front of the property then.
Well, it's ultimately up to the state because it is
right. Yeah, and it was to answer the original question. The main factor was safety because of the where your property comes down there, and then the other thing drops off, and that road was existing. So I had never. I mean, just to be clear, it was bought in 2011. None of us were on the board then. There was multiple designs.
It's a multifaceted concern.
Yeah.
One of the aspects is safety. The sidewalk in the front provides said safety. Obviously, it provides a certain level of curb appeal for residents in general.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, for a state road, it's 25 feet from the center. And I mean, because it is a state road, theoretically, they can come take it whenever they want. However, this easement is not that. So we're talking two very different things in the sense of one Highland Street versus Horner Avenue.
Zach, I don't know if you can answer this. With regard to the design portion of it, would that be, once that has taken place, would that be at the point where Dawood would like reach out to affected property owners? Because I know that's already taken place for portions of this, where they've reached, and we have another project on Highland Street, a drain relocation to try to prevent the flooding. And again, during that process, the affected property owners were reached out to. So I think that will take place. We just didn't get there yet.
Which, if anything to do with Bishop Farm, was residents were reached out to?
No, I'm saying we didn't get to any of that point
Okay.
yet. That's what, so for the other one, the design is done. We know what we're doing. And then at that point, that's when you start to go forward and contact property owners, try to work with them to see if you can obtain the easement. So we didn't get that far yet. So,
And then to follow up with the Bishop Farm, what is the easement from property lines for what they are going to be doing?
I do not know that.
Easements as far as?
From one property line to the next, there's usually, when there is
There are a
development.
lot of easements
Like-
associated with Bishop Park and that development.
Because usually
a lot of it's owned by the township.
for any structures or anything like that, there's a certain level of easement. I know the park is not going to be doing structures specifically on that line. However, there is usually a little bit.
No, when you look at the boundary line.
Are you talking about buffers and setbacks?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, there are requirements on those, and I mean the whole plan is designed inside of that. There's nothing pushing out,
Yeah.
and it also has some. PP&L has an easement, and they're going to be putting an underground line, which is great for the appearance of the park, but so there's I think 35 feet. Even if the line's not that wide, there's 35 feet. It goes up the middle, so right there that would be 70 feet at least going around the outer perimeter, where there would be no permanent building or parking or curbing or anything like that.
But construction can happen up to the property line, correct?
Yeah, it's not gonna though. There's
Happening right now.
No, there's
there's
such,
a buffer.
yeah, but if you want, the documents are public, you can see where all the structures and everything are. I mean, they're far away.
I've seen it, I have.
Yeah, they're far away from residential houses.
The current
I
tear
think-
down.
I think the closest that you have on the one side is probably like a playground set.
Yep.
And that's probably on the side that you're on. And then that lower end, there's nothing really there. That's a water basin.
I was more speaking of the current tear down portion of this project.
Oh, you're talking
During the
grading.
construction.
How they pretty much just.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking the structures and after
No,
everything's
no.
built. I don't even know if they would come back that far.
We
They don't.
We
The
have their
structures
email
don't.
address. I can
Yes.
provide it to
I
Interim
misunderstood
Manager
the question.
Traska, he might
So
be
yeah,
able to
you
talk
can
to you
clear
about
from edge to
that
edge.
portion.
Sure.
But then you can't build them.
If he actually has the construction documents, you can see it where they're going to move the earth.
Yeah, so I actually did print out a copy for you guys to view the differences
Did you get that off the website?
off of the township website, correct?
Yeah. I'm talking the construction documents.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at the construction.
I mean, I also do have
You can actually
the
see more in
Daywood,
detail what they're going to do.
engineering company.
Dawood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You did your research. Good job.
Appreciate
it's
that.
not my first rodeo.
Good job.
Thank you.
Came with the facts.
Thank you.
Do you want my information when he sends the
Sure.
Yeah, and our Director of Utilities, Kevin Trapp, is not here tonight, but I mean, he had said to me when we were meeting on site that he was going to have a conversation with the people on, that's how I knew it was Horner. I wouldn't have remembered that. So I am right, is that Horner?
Yes.
Yes, and he had said that, I'm losing track of time, but I want to say, no, it was in the last week. I forget why it was after there was that sewage issue down there behind Gilligan's and Bullock. Yeah. Which I don't know if you watched the meetings, there was grease going down a drain in a liquid form that solidified to block a drain. So what wasn't a break or a malfunction or anything like that. It just was poor decision making on somebody's part. But the whole thing does look totally different in the last 2 weeks as you come down through there, how it's opened up now.
Yes.
But as Commissioner Steele said, a lot of what you see on both sides from when you pass the harbor crabs coming through is a lot of required stormwater.
Mediation.
And things like that. But you said about your kids, I would give anything to live on the edge of a park like that, to be honest with you, just for my grandkids. So we're going to try to do it right for you, is what I'm saying.
If you leave your email address, I'll give you the public document.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And a Dropbox, I'll just give them to you.
send you the plan. All right, do we have any other visitors' requests and comments at this time?
I'll be quick. Nina Vacante, 5671 Chambers Hill Road. I just wanted to know, is there any update on the status of the transition from the Red Lion Hotel to a drug treatment center? Have they encountered any roadblocks recently? And if not, is there any projected time frame when that transition actually is going to happen?
If we can
Do you have
defer,
any
yeah.
info on that, or?
Yeah, Steve, you want to handle this one?
I thought it would be quick.
It is quick, and Zach can correct me if there's anything I say that's incorrect, but the developer for that has requested an extension for the time to move forward. What was it, 6 months?
Correct. Yes.
So
when is that time?
no real update other than they're working on it and asked for a little more time.
May I ask you time for what? For plans to bring it to the planning committee, or more time for what?
They need to submit their zoning permit by December something, or their special exception would expire. So if they submit their zoning permit, I don't know the date, I think it's December 5th or something. It's 12 months from the date of the zoning hearing board's approval. So if they submit it by then, they have a year. Their zoning permit's good for a year, and then they can request an extension.
Oh, okay. So it's still moving forward, it's just delays and...
If they miss applying for their zoning permit by December 5th,
Whatever.
I believe it is, then their special exception expires.
So they have to start all over again if they want to do it again? Okay. I was just kind of curious. I hadn't heard anything about it recently.
Yeah, I do have a question. Do we know if the hotel is still open?
It is. I know it is.
I wasn't sure. I saw some activity
and they're
recently.
taking reservations at least for the next 6 months. They are still accepting reservations. That's what prompted me to, because I have people that are planning events and are using it, and I thought, what happens if this happens? And I wanted to know.
Just to be clear, these time extensions are asked for a lot.
Sure.
And sometimes they, even before the planning commission, when the project was already out in the news and things like that, and then they come before the planning commission and they delay it. And it could be financing, they could be changing their mind. Could be a lot of different factors. So they're coming up on the end of a year where they had submitted something saying that they would do something or take a next step within a year.
Which was approved.
Right.
But they have to do the zoning
permit
by December whatever.
Correct.
And if they don't, then they have to start the whole process all over again?
They could ask for an
ask for an extension.
They have to apply for the permit first.
Yeah, they have to apply and then get it,
Okay.
Am I correct, Steve?
Yeah, I may have misspoken, actually jumped a step ahead before that. I guess they do still have about a month to apply for the permit. If they do that, that starts the clock on completion of the work, and they can ask for an extension of that time frame as well.
And that's where the year comes in.
Up to 24 months.
That
The
year?
year comes in for applying for the permit.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got it. I was just curious. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else for visitors' requests and comments at this time? All right. We are up to item 7, a motion to approve the amended agenda.
President Ellis.
We're good.
I would like to make a motion that we amend the agenda to move all reports, with the exception of the treasurer's report, to next week for combined reporting, because it's 10 o'clock and we've had 3 hearings tonight.
We don't have a meeting next
meeting.
Next meeting. Next meeting. Next month.
Okay. That's what's going on.
I'm going to amend my amendment.
Okay.
Next month.
Okay.
Just to save time for the residents.
That's fine. Or would you want them just to be posted and then?
They can post them
Okay.
I'm fine either way. I just think in an effort to
Yeah,
save
no.
time after
I
3
don't-
hearings this evening, we should probably give people a break.
Yeah, yeah, we got a motion, we got a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Tony's voting over there. Comes to
So-
an occasional meeting and now he's voting.
So that approves the the second amendment to the agenda, right? So we're good and we can move on? Got it, okay. We're up to number 8, motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
Motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We've already done number 9, and we said we are going to only go over the treasurer's report for item 10. So I'll turn it over to Treasurer Yarzinski, or Finance Director Yarzinski.
I would have been fine with this one being moved too, but I'm just kidding. Okay. For the month ending October 31st, 2025, the beginning balance of all funds was $23,509,916.15. We received $2,916,389.40. We dispersed $3,480,889.87, with an ending balance at the end of October, and all total of all funds, $22,945,415.68.
All right. Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. We are finally up to a presentation of the proposed 2026 budget.
Motion to advertise for public comment.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. We'll have Treasurer Yarzinski go over information for us, and then commissioners can ask questions.
Okay. This is the proposed Board of Commissioners 2026 budget draft. This is the draft also of the OpenGov document. So whenever it is fully completed through OpenGov, which will be at the end of this year. Yes, sorry, it's zoomed in on mine, but I didn't realize the screens. There you go. What was I saying? At the end, when OpenGov is also finished with their final draft, there will be a little bit more to this even. This is the the draft version of the new budget format.
So can I just ask one question before we even get started? Is this not completed for advertisement?
No, it is.
Okay, so what do you mean by draft then?
There's going to be more word description stuff that our budget didn't have before. It has all the figures and it has everything that the old format used to have, the Excel sheets. It's just going to have more informative data.
Okay. Can we make the informative data just a little bit larger for us
Yes.
to be able to read?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. This is the budget summary of the general fund, the same exact lines that you would see in the Excel that we've used for all the previous years that I've been here. It has the end of year estimates for 25 and 26. And this is including all of the budgeted requested items from the presentations in the general fund, except for a couple of staffing modifications. So everything in the public budget presentations that were requested were accommodated in here, and I can highlight those as we go through each department. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop me along the way. The format of this one, you'll see the revenues first, It's going to show the 2023 actuals, 24 actuals, 25 budget, the proposed budget change, and the budget change percent. The real estate figures are based on the real estate assessment that was also used in all of the budget presentations. Some of the revenues for permitting and codes are based on the new ordinance that Zach had worked on earlier throughout the year. So some of the revenues have changed slightly due to that. I hope I'm not scrolling too fast for the public. There we go. And then the rest would be insurances, which we never budget for. Obviously, we hope do not have accidents. And then transfers. And that's the end of the general fund revenues. For expenses, some of the highlights that are different that we went over in the public budget meetings were for the building was the turn mower, the fire alarm system, the mini split system. For police, the communication and radio expenses were requested to repair and replace the radios. The police have also requested for their vests to be updated, and the bulletproof vests that were in the public budget presentations, the taser replacement program, and the vehicle replacement program for the police. Scroll to the next section. For codes, some of their highlights was the codification revision services that Zach had asked for in the public presentation for codes. For highway, let me scroll to the bottom of that. They requested a vehicle and staff members that were discussed during the public budget meeting, and those were incorporated. There was also a request to increase paving this year, which was incorporated. Under Parks and Recreation, let me see. A vehicle was requested to replace our current R7 vehicle, and also a trailer for the mower, which will be part of the building. And then that brings us almost to the end of general. Is it too fast? Okay. This is also in the board members' packets. Okay. Fire. I'll keep the recap up there for a couple of minutes, but again, this encompasses all the 26 budget requests that were talked about during all of the public budget meetings. And the main highlight expenses are the vehicle, 2 auxiliary vehicles to be replaced, rope gear, rescue tools, and water rescue tools.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Fire hydrant fund, does that move back to the fire, or is it still in the general?
Those are allocated in the hydrant services of the general fund.
The general fund still.
for the debt service fund. This fund is strictly just for our bond principal and interest payments. This is the recap sheet. You'll see that the revenues are all from real estate tax dollars, and the expenses again are just the principal and interest payments of the 2 bonds that the township has. Liquid fuels, here's the summary for that. And the revenue comes from the state liquid fuels funding, and the expenses are the same expenses that we have each year, the approved liquid fuels expenses, which include anti-skid, traffic signal, electricity, some street lighting, and paving if a project is pre-approved, which we do not have one at this time. The ambulance fund again comes from tax dollars, and that the only expense is the monthly payment of $8,250. So that budget is the same as it has been past several years. The OLDS program, here is the budget summary with the estimated end of year expense and revenues. The revenues come from the OLDS fees, the $50 every 3-year fee. And the expenses include 25% of the SEO salary that was just voted on last week, along with operating expenses such as office expense, mailing, communication, phone, and inspections. And that brings me to the end. And I can go back to anything if you want me to show it on the screen. I know it's kind of hard to watch it all when I'm just going through it, but.
Does anyone have any questions?
I do have some questions on the capital outlay fund. It lists a bunch of vehicles, equipment, things like that, but it doesn't really specify what any of those items are for. Is that something that you can include? Because I'd like to know what we're purchasing and for what purpose.
Which capital outlay are you talking about? Are you talking about the general or fire?
It's the capital outlay in the general.
Okay.
It says minor equipment purchase. Well, that one's 0, but like another minor equipment purchase is 10,000. There's another one for 17,500. There's a capital outlay, general highway, 120,000. I'm just looking to see what these items are for.
The highway one is for our lease payments, so it's not anything new. It's just what's already in there from our last 2 remaining leases.
Is there a way you can add some more substance to the line items? Because I think I had asked at the beginning of the budget season if we could itemize things a little better so that I understand exactly what things are for.
Put the descriptions of the requests in this draft. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And it's also, if I could come in at some point and maybe get some larger font.
Yes.
Could I suggest that any commissioner that has a line item and a dollar amount, that Brittany could break it out for you? I don't know if that's
It's already broken out in the other attachment that she sent.
Okay. I'm just saying they could get that. I don't know that we're going to list
You have the general,
individually.
everything that you're looking at right now is a general view, the broken down view that Commissioner Zubek had requested be done with the budget. It's a 128-page document. It's in your email. There should have been 2 attachments.
Yeah.
And one of the attachments was each line item subcategory.
Well, that was the old format. Is that what you're referring to?
No. When she sent the PDF, there should have been 2 PDFs in there. One of them should have been.
I did not have 2. I only had 1.
There's the 2. Yeah, send them. They should have the other one too.
I'll
so there's another one, basically of the information that you requested that So you're looking at the one line item that you just talked about, and then every subcategory underneath that in detail. It's a 128-page document.
Yeah, I think it's important to know what we're voting on. And because there's a lot of zeros for on the historical parts too, and I may be reaching out on, because I would like to know what we've spent on things in the past, and this is nearly $1 million more than last year, so I just like to know what we are spending it on.
No, so she has to send you the other attachment.
Oh, I thought you said it was.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
Does anyone else have any other questions at this point? No. All right. So we have a motion and a second, and this is to advertise the proposed 2026 budget. This would be placed on our website, and a link could be placed on our Facebook page so that the public would have access to it, and you are able to inspect it. Historically, the way this has worked is the last meeting of the year is when we would vote on the budget. So you have time to comment and review it. So if there are no other comments. Secretary is Savage. Could you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Tuckey?
Yes.
Commissioner Zubek?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Vice President Steele?
Yes.
President Ellis?
Yes. All right, we're up to item 12, approval of a local detour for Nye Road project.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Tony, do you have this information for the Nye Road thing at all to give? Right. All right. This is what I'll just read it real quick for the public. Department, and this is from PennDOT, is preparing a construction project on Nye Road, State Route 2019 in Dauphin County between Lower Paxton and South Hanover Township. The bridge over Beaver Creek will be rehabilitated by replacing the existing bridge, deck, and box beams. Construction will occur in half-width construction under temporary traffic signal. Additionally, temporary weekend closures will be required while the existing beams are removed and new beams are installed. Says the department is proposing the use of Dairy Street as part of the detour to route motorists around the weekend road closure. In addition to Dairy Street being used as a detour route, 61st Street, Page Road, New Side Road, and Union Deposit Road will also be used for the weekend Nye Road traffic. While State Route 2019 is closed at the bridge location, we have attached a memorandum of understanding along with the detour route that we are planning to use. So for the public, keep that in mind, that's upcoming. Let me just look at this, see if there's anything else to share. It says the time and duration for enactment of this detour is anticipated to be 5 short-term weekend closures, which would begin on a Friday at 8 p.m. until Monday morning at 5 a.m. And we don't have the dates or anything like that, but as that becomes available to us, we'll get it out on the website and the Facebook page to try to get it to you guys so that you're aware. All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All right, hearing nothing. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are up to item 13, approval of the Highland Street Connectivity and Sidewalk Project.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. By way of discussion, we talked about this a little bit earlier. We were in a position where we were not going to be able to move forward with this project because of the costs and the township expending funds on a road that's not ours. That at this point, the amount was projected to be $1.8 million. That's not something that was accounted for in any of our capital projects plan, so that we weren't going to move forward with it. Dawood worked with Tri-County Regional Planning, and somehow they got PennDOT to pay for it. So, very good news that they will give us an additional $1.5 million grant in addition to the funds that they already gave us. So they will be completely funding the project. What we're approving is the design, and I believe that the amount that we'll be expending can be taken from the funding that was the grant funding that was already awarded to us. So the total for the and the other thing that I didn't mention is originally Dawood was talking about reducing the scope of the project because we were talking about retaining walls a little bit earlier. PennDOT is requiring retaining walls along the school property, which that was not part of the original scope. That wasn't part of any of the projected costs that we had, which 2021, I think, is when this was originally being talked about. But they're paying for the full scope. So the original plan is what will be moving forward. And the cost for this expanded scope is $230,050. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion at this time? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. We are up to our second visitors requesting comments. Anyone would like to comment, please come forward, state your name and address, as well as write it down, and then you may begin. All right, I don't see anybody jumping up. Item 15 is on our agenda every time. Possible stormwater violations. You can always submit those on the website. We are up to 16 commissioners requesting comments, additional business, and correspondence. Commissioner Tuckey?
Yes. It's good to see everyone that came out tonight. I appreciate the involvement from the community. I just want to set some things straight that was said towards the end of the last meeting, last week. Our campaign between Commissioner Zubek and myself, when we were running for commissioner for re-election, we never attacked anyone's family, never attacked any veterans, as was stated by Shane Still. Pretty much the majority of what came out of his mouth was complete falsehoods. And I really don't appreciate it. We ran a clean campaign. Everyone can look at our campaign if you want, pull it up on Facebook. You will see everything in there clearly. We didn't attack anyone's family. We never would attack anyone's family or veterans. I just really getting tired of this. We're here for the right reasons. We've been here for the right reasons. And Commissioner Connolly, you keep showing up at these Dauphin County Commissioners meetings, putting out falsehoods there too. It's just nerve-wracking and just disgusting. I do everything properly. I know Commissioner Zubek has done everything properly. And it just isn't right. But you don't really care about what's right and what's not. And it's just a shame that the past almost 2 years we couldn't work together on stuff. And it could have benefited the township a lot. Unfortunately, I couldn't see a lot of the direction that 3 members on this board was going. That's pretty much where I was at. Unfortunately, it's not that I didn't want to work with people. I work with people all the time. It's definitely not because I don't know what I'm doing in life. Fortunately, I've had a successful, I still do, for 27 years business in this township. I might not know everything, but if I don't know it, I find out the information and make sure I'm aware of what's going on. To try to discredit people and bring them down when there's no truth to it, I have an issue with. And like I said before, I'm the first one to speak, so we can't talk after the fact. Other people want to bring other issues up and whatever they believe to be true, which after you're told so many times at these commissioner meetings at Dauphin County, Mr. Connolly, the truth, and yet you still want to go there and still keep bashing us. I don't understand it. I'm not going to ever understand where you come from half the time. I appreciate everyone that is staying involved in the community. Please keep doing it. Voice your concerns. It's only going to make our township better in the long run. And thank you for coming out tonight. You have a great evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Zubak?
Oh, yes, I wasn't gonna say anything tonight about it, but I guess I will since Commissioner Tuckey did bring it up, and that is the continued false allegations by the gentleman sitting to my left, if I can say gentleman, Commissioner Tom Connolly, showed up every week, shows up at the county commissioners meeting, spreading false information, false allegations, clearly has no concept of what the campaign finance law includes, and was schooled on it just a few weeks ago by the Dauphin County Bureau of Elections, and still doesn't understand it. And the district attorney got up and said, he wanted to, I would be happy if someone investigates me per your request, because you're a liar and I have nothing to hide. Nothing, absolutely nothing to hide. Everything was filed in a timely manner. I have an email. I emailed the Dauphin County Bureau of Elections and I asked them, was everything filed in a timely manner? Were there any late fees assessed? And the response I got is everything was filed properly. But you want to continue to lie to the residents in this township, just like you've broken our finance department. I mean, we lost $2 million in 1 year. And you want to sit there and point fingers and deflect because you can't look yourself in the mirror. It's disgraceful. And while I love serving my township, and I truly enjoyed serving my township for the last 8 years, what I didn't love is sitting next to a liar. And I'm grateful that I won't have to for a little bit anyway. And now I'm going to go on to the data centers. I had a resident reach out to me with some continued concerns about data centers, and I've heard many commissioners up here talk about the interest of the township and wanting to preserve open space and wanting to do all of this great stuff for our community. But what about prices? What about electric costs? What about water prices? What about all of the things, the daily things that people really think about that they have to pay every single month? And we have a lot of seniors on fixed incomes. And so this gentleman, I'm going to read it. Our resident, Mr. Tom Garlick, has some concerns that he sent to me, and I'm going to read them for him this evening. Please present this for me in public comments, he said. I spoke with a regional vice president with a large investment firm. The data centers are going direct to energy providers for deals. This means they're not on the grids and get their power directly from the energy providers, which then decreases the amount available for residential customers. This drives up the prices for normal people. The best example of this bait and switch is in Georgia. They opened the newest nuclear power plant in the nation in 2023. This was done to supposedly lower prices for consumers to offset data center usage. It didn't, and prices went up. And this is the most advanced power plant in the nation. Tom Garlick. I just want to reiterate, I had presented a document. It was completely misconstrued. There's a surprise. And a lot of false information was put out, but one of the things I included in there is that we really look at energy costs. And as someone who's going to be sitting in that audience in just a few months, well, actually a month, I'm going to be asking the same question. And you know what? You're not going to be able to interrupt my sentence, and I'm going to be allowed to finish speaking. You're not going to be turning my mic off every time you don't like what I have to say. I'm looking forward to continuing to participate as a resident in this township. It's my right to participate, whether I'm sitting here or in the audience. And I hope I won't be called any names, I hope I'll be treated with more respect than some of these wonderful people have been treated with throughout the year that have had, differing opinions. But at the end of the day, we are all people. We are all neighbors. We're supposed to be that. My fellow commissioners on the board are not supposed to be showing up at county meetings saying, I want my opponent on the board, which I shouldn't be an opponent, but I want my opponent on the board investigated for some made up fake campaign finance allegations that I came up with while I was drinking coffee or tea last evening. It's ridiculous. It's disappointing. You have made my time on this board a fallacy. You're fake. I hope everyone has a good evening.
Commissioner Connolly?
Thank you.
I don't have to go to the vice chair.
I want to thank our firefighters. I think they were supposed to.
Hang on, Tommy.
You turned it off. No.
Testing.
You're good. He's
Oh, turn it off.
Yeah.
Testing. Is it working?
Sounds like it.
Am I ready to go?
Just go. This is late.
You can talk through that little mic on the thing. There you go.
Thank the firefighters that came out. The burn on the McNaughton farm on 61st Street. I think we had close to 30 firefighters out there. Joel McNaughton was here tonight. He donated the use of the old farmhouse on that property for fire training, and our guys did a great job. Don't see him in here, but I want to thank Chief Iverson. I saw he was out there. We had people from the State Police Fire Academy, and I think we had some support from Lower Swatara. Do I have that right, Mike? There was one interesting thing that we didn't run water continuously there, but we filled some on-site containers to put the water out, and we started to get things from the neighborhood saying that the water was cloudy or rust covered. I want to be clear, nothing from what we do goes into the water. So if there's sediment in the water, it means it's already in the line, and the use or the pressure could stir it up. So there was some confusion. People thought that, a few people thought that the fire drill was somehow responsible for the cloudy water or what was in the water. It is possible that sediment was stirred up through the process. My concern with that is, why is that in the pipes anyway, for us to even be questioned? I want to thank the Chambers Hill PTO for having a Donuts with Veterans event. I had the opportunity to attend that, and it was great to see the posted thank you notes from the children in the design of a U.S. flag, and I appreciate the PTO and the school for doing that. Also, I had the opportunity to attend the Rutherford VFW Veterans Day event, and it was moved inside, cold temperatures and a lot of wind. Some people did meet at the circle as originally scheduled, but again, it was a nice event, and I want to thank all the veterans for their service. The tree lighting will be, and Commissioner Ellis probably was going to say this, December 2nd here at the Township Building. That night, we will not have the Planning Commission meeting. That's a Tuesday night, so the next Planning Commission meeting will be December 1st, Monday night, and then wherever possible into the year, it'll stay on the same pattern of the first Tuesday. But there's every now and then there's an exception to that. One of the things that we took away from Superintendent Stauffer was the ability to announce the next Coffee with a Cop date and location. So if you want to add that, since you didn't get to do your report.
Sounds good.
Thank you. There we go. Yeah, the next Coffee with a Cop is a week from this Friday. It's on November 21st. Be right here in this building, downstairs in the Swatara room at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Is there a breakfast with that, or?
I will go buy some donuts and we will make some coffee.
Okay. Just checking. And then on Thanksgiving Day, we'll have our Day of Thanks cleanup. We'll be meeting at 9:30. It's 9:30 to 11. It is an excellent opportunity for people that don't prepare the meal to be out of the house while that's going on and return hungry. We'll figure out where we're going to do the cleanup, and we'll announce that as it gets closer to the date. But just so you know, it's going to be Thanksgiving. I believe this is the 12th or 13th year that we did this, 9 to 11, and you can come anytime between there and stay as long as you want. I want to address a couple things related to where we're at in the township. Again, we didn't have the fire report, but this township is now down to 5-minute, 27-second response on fire calls to date throughout the year. And that's many fire calls. The number's increasing. This budget that we proposed tonight does not have a tax increase in it. In fact, I was reviewing some of the revenues as we were going through the process, and we underestimated and quoted the numbers compared to even the historical data in 24. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. If anything happens with the economy or the money coming in, we already lowered the expectations on the revenue, but at the same time we are providing services, and there's more spending for the citizens. So this will be no tax increases since 2013 in a township that also, as we saw tonight, has the lowest stormwater fee. Our leaf collection is going on now, and the guys are doing an incredible job with that. We also generally lead the area in snow removal, and the recreation program is being improved drastically with parks being upgraded and added in the township. So I'm very proud to serve on a board with the commissioners that are here now, commissioners in the past that put us in this position, and that's really what it's about, doing the work for the public. And I'm just going to wrap up with addressing if you take money from political action committees, which we see here, one side of the equation takes money from political action committees, and then those political action committees put information out that is inflammatory, inaccurate, offensive, tries to distort pictures of people and messages. If you accept that money during your campaign, then it is you that is putting out that information. And you are responsible for the campaign finance reporting as it's related. To be clear, the things I raise at the county are done because the county oversees elections. We don't oversee elections. And yes, I want the elections to be fair. And the things that I raise happened in the primary election. I wasn't up for election this year, and it was in the Republican primary, and I'm not a Republican. But if you don't file reports and you accept money and influence, and anybody can look up the laws, if you accept influence and it exceeds $250 from somebody, you have to put that on a piece of paper so everybody can see.
Properly, Tom.
Okay, see, I didn't interrupt anybody. I didn't interrupt anyone.
I'm sick and tired of your lies and your slander.
Okay, so
your defamation.
it is online for people to look at. So if you research the candidates and you look for the pre-primary reports, you can review them. The reason this is done is so that the citizens, when they vote,
And you had a PAC in 2020. Why don't you tell everybody the truth about that one?
this is done, and it would have been properly reported, and you can look up if that's true. I don't know. But I'm talking about outside PACs that mail things from 100 miles away, and
You're
that,
allowed to have them yourself.
okay, and mail negative things. So that if that's your campaign, you're responsible for it. You do not get to say after the fact, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't say anything bad. You are responsible for what your campaign puts out in support of you, and then you have to file that. And what I was getting ready to say before I was interrupted here is that's to protect the citizens. So you know if somebody funds a campaign, you want to know who's paying for the campaign. And again, I didn't interrupt her, and I'm trying to wrap up my commissioner's comments. Okay, so, and the one sign of a person who isn't telling the truth is when they're interrupting someone who is. So that's pretty evident right here. But I want to be clear, over the course of the last 2 years, I didn't interrupt when someone was speaking, but I sit next to somebody who interrupts. I've never turned anybody's mic off. I couldn't even turn mine on. So just to be clear, this message of gloom and doom and how bad things are, the township is really improving. And we heard tonight about some different opinions on development. I've also had different opinions on development at different times. And I got involved, and I'm happy I did. And it was kind of great tonight to hear all of those conversations and concerns from the residents. And I think overall, we alleviated them, and I stand by the votes that I take. So I want to say I hope everybody has a good night, and appreciate you coming out. And again, thank this board. Commissioner Steele puts in a lot of work, Brittany puts in a lot of work, the department heads, to get this budget ready to go. So it's a good budget in an uncertain time. Just think about this. This is the last thing I'm going to say. We're not on an island. You're here in Swatara Township. Be interested in what we do. Check the facts. But also look at the surrounding communities, and maybe people will be a little more grateful for the low tax rate that we have, the great service that our employees provide, the low stormwater fee that is required. We didn't want to do that. And maybe as we go into next year, there'll be more positives about the township than negatives, because we're going to get some new people on the board, but the board itself, I believe, will continue, just like this board did, to do the work of the people. So thank you very much.
Vice President Steele.
I'll be very quick. Thank you everyone that joined online. Thank you everyone that came here in the crowd and joined us for this lovely evening. It was truly a good night, because I think this is probably one of the most packed nights that we've had, where we've had engagement from our residents, and sometimes that's refreshing for us to actually get an opportunity to engage with the residents. So thanks for coming out. I just want to give one quick shout out to one of our residents, James Russell Smith, for achieving the rank of his Eagle Scout. Job well done, young man. Also, all the volunteers that helped out at the burn this weekend. If I'm not mistaken, I'd say we had probably a good 40 firemen, Life Team Fire. Also, there were some instructors there that assisted. So, what was it, 3 drones? I think 3 or 4 different drones were there from 3 different municipalities. There was a Mike, help me on this one. What is the guy that has a big YouTube channel on industrial recruitment videos? I mean, it was an excellent time. And then Mission Barbecue for hooking the firefighters up for food. But Mr. McNaughton, Joel, for what he did for the firefighters to help out. Fire police, I don't ever want to leave them out, because they also do an outstanding job. And that's all I have for tonight. Drive safe and have a good night.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't want to forget the highway guys either. Appreciate you guys.
I'll be brief also. I just want to say thank you to everyone that worked so diligently on the budget for next year. It's appreciated. Again, I'll announce that the tree lighting ceremony is going to be December 2nd here at the building. That's a Tuesday. It'll begin at 5:30. And the actual lighting of the huge tree out front will take place at 7 p.m. And I want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. Take the time to, again, thank all the veterans for their service. Wish everyone that's here a safe trip home and a good night, and everyone that watches. And thank you for being here. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 10:28 p.m.